first half. Manchester United will be playing from right to left as we look, as there's a friendly embrace between Roy Hodgson and Erik ten Hag down below. So Manchester United attacking the Stretford end with Crystal Palace in their change strip, the white shirts with the pale blue sash and the sky blue shorts. And for a second time in a week, they've made that long journey up from South London, have their loyal supporters. As we're underway here, BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds will keep you in touch with the goals as they go in, as we often do on a Saturday afternoon, but we'll also keep you abreast of what's happening in the Ryder Cup. But just as a reminder, and if you were to put away £1 for every time I say it during the course of the afternoon, just the basic cross-promotion and housekeeping, and you might get yourself a handy little pot come the end at 5 o'clock, because uninterrupted coverage will be on Sports Extra. But Manchester United with Onana all in green, and you would think, given the changes that they've made as Mount collects this ball from Amrabat running forward, that back for Rashford, that Manchester United will look to try and build on those successive wins. We're also going racing at Newmarket. The Cambridge are to come, but first it's the 3 o'clock with John Hunt.
Yes, it's the Middle Park Stakes here. All eyes on the favourite Van Dijk in, who is cutting through the field from the back. He's made great progress now to come through and hit the front. He's been chased by his old rival River Tiber. Also Task Force running on very nicely from the back end of the field. But Van Dijk makes it 4 out of 4, and the most impressive display of the day. He has slammed them, really, River Tiger and Task Force, in a photo for second place. But on a day of early classic trials, Ian, Van Dijk, the biggest name to score, 4 out of 4, an easy winner of the Middle Park Stakes.
And justifying his favourite tag as well, Argentina 24, Chile 0, half-time in Pool D of the Rugby Union World Cup. Later on, Sports Extra, incidentally, Scotland-Romania will be on Sports Extra from 8 o'clock. But we're inside the opening 2 minutes here. It's 0-0. Haven't really missed anything as the game still settles down. The results from earlier: Aston Villa 6, Brighton 1, Southampton 3, Leeds United 1, and Motherwell 1, Celtic 2, as Chris Sutton's former side go back 5 points clear at the top of the table. They left it late.
They did. Late show at Motherwell. In the early stages here, Manchester United have had all the possession. I say that, and a careless pass out from Varane, and Eberechi Eze gets on the ball for the first time for Crystal Palace, and he's going to be their key man.
And it breaks towards Rashford, who runs away from Hughes, and coming across was Ward on the cover, and he did enough to take it away from Rashford. All in purple is Johnston, away towards our left-hand side in front of the Stretford end, and he got it away in terms of the height, but he sliced his clearance in these wet conditions. And now it's with Amrabat, who I know that Erik ten Hag in his programme note says that he doesn't see himself as a left back, but he was pleased with his commitment and professionalism, as Ayew tries to get around the back of the Moroccan on this near side, the Palace right, whips over the cross, but there is Amrabat, and he plays it now to Dalot, and there's certainly a ripple of applause in appreciation for his efforts. Our featured game in League Two is at Priestfield. There's been a goal. Chris Coles.
A goal inside 2 minutes for the home side. Gillingham, they lead Mansfield. Macaulay Bonne, his first in Gillingham colours, turning home a neat cutback. Gillingham 1, Mansfield 0.
Mount looks for the run of Hoyland. Anderson comes across. Hoyland then actually keeps the ball in play for Anderson, who'll clear it away for Crystal Palace. Headed back by Amrabat, hooked away then by Doucouré. I know Roy Hodgson, after watching the game in midweek, said that he felt that his side were giving a footballing lesson. But he said, we'll lick our wounds and we'll try to give a better account of ourselves here today. And not only defensively, but I think he wants to see them play a little bit better in terms of ball retention and creating chances too.
Yeah, I think so. And he's a little bit hampered, isn't he? No, Odsonne-Edouard, who's had a really good start to the season for Crystal Palace. Mateta starts, I think, his first Premier League game.
That's right.
Up top, and he's going to make sure he holds the ball in well and links up with the Palace forwards just in behind him. But it's more the manner in which Crystal Palace lost, which would have been Roy Hodgson's frustration. You've explained that well. Prides himself on defensive stability, but also being brave on the ball. And they were poor on Tuesday night.
And he's certainly looking forward, I think, to getting a number of key players back. Edouard, who Chris Sutton has mentioned with that hamstring injury. Lerma, who's also out with a hamstring problem. Elise, who's missed the start of the season with a thigh problem after being picked up with the France under-21s in the Euro Championships. And then of course Henderson picked up a groin injury midweek. He only lasted 19 minutes of his Palace debut here against his former club as Fernandes. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world. Here we are at Old Trafford, 0-0 between Manchester United and Crystal Palace, but United are attacking. Mount hooks it out towards Rashford, left-hand side of the penalty area. Rashford gets the ball stuck underneath his feet a little bit, helped out by Mount, keeps it alive. Back it goes then towards Lindelof outside the area. He tells Amrabat to pass the ball back towards Mount on the left, but instead he finds Varane, as every outfield player is in the Palace half. Manchester United, red shirts, white shorts, black socks, are playing from right to left. Goal at Deepdale in the Championship, Katie Smith.
And it's gone to the visitors. Preston 0, West Brom 1. They had started brightly, the visitors, looking for just their third win this season. And Furlong, edge of the area, quite a low, not too powerful shot, but it goes under the keeper. Preston 0, West Brom 1.
Lincoln 1, Cheltenham 0 is the latest score in League One. Cheltenham, who've set a new Football League record, they're still yet to score this season in their opening 9 games, and they're behind at Sincil Bank. And Middlesbrough, who look like they've turned a corner, are ahead at Vicarage Road in the Championship. Watford 0, Middlesbrough 1. They only got their first win against Southampton last weekend. They followed that up with a win at Bradford City in midweek in the League Cup, and now they're leading at Vicarage Road. And Crawley leads Sutton by a goal to 0 as a cross comes in from that right-hand side. Well claimed by Johnston. Hoyland was making the run towards him.
There's a good ball in from Dalot on that right-hand side. Marcus Rashford had hit a wonderful ranging pass from left to right. And Pellistri had made the run, allowing Dalot to cross the ball in, but too close to Johnston. Good claim.
Let's go to Newcastle United for an early update with John Bennett.
Newcastle 0, Burnley 0, but Burnley should be ahead. Koleosho capitalising on a slip by Dan Burn, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Great save, Nick Pope. Newcastle 0, Burnley 0.
Crystal Palace forward, referee Chris Kavanagh says no foul on Eza. The latest in the Ryder Cup. Commentary continues on Sports Extra, but the United States are up in 2. They're down in 1 and all square in the other. So, where next? West Ham United, Henry Moran.
Still goalless, West Ham 0, Sheffield United 0. Good early chance for the hosts, so Thomas Souček blazing over from Bowen's cut back. It's goalless, West Ham 0, Sheffield United 0.
Stoke City, who've lost 4 of the last 5, are behind at Ashton Gate in the Championship. Bristol City 1, Stoke City 0 is the latest score. 7 minutes played, 0-0 here in the Premier League. This is Lindelof just outside the centre circle. Now towards Varane, goes square towards his right-hand side, runs away from Mateta over the halfway line. Mateta gets a foot into the challenge, but it runs towards Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes now towards Rashford, left corner of the box. Rashford enters the penalty area, and then it's headed away by Anderson. Steve Holland, the assistant to Gareth Southgate, is here today in the director's box watching on. Marcus Rashford. Gareth Southgate will name his squad next week for that friendly against Australia, then the Euro qualifier against Italy. Mason Mount, of course, might be hoping for a recall now that he's back fit. Meanwhile, let's go back to Rome. Ian Carter.
It's Justin Rose and Bob McIntyre. They're 1 up now on Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. That's after 10 holes of their match. So America up in 2, Europe up in 2.
Uninterrupted commentary on Sports Extra. Wimbledon 0, Tranmere 1 is the latest score in League 2. Ball goes back to Casemiro. Plays it out now to Lindelof. Casemiro has dropped in between the 2 central defenders. The fullbacks are pushed on for Manchester United. How have Manchester City started at Molineux? Pat Murphy.
Well, it's 0-0. First chance created by Nunez, who's been heartily booed by the locals. Instant pass across the face. Dawson hooked it clear just before Haaland got a touch. Wolves 0, Man City 0.
BBC Radio 5 Live here at Old Trafford. Tyrick Mitchell back towards Johnston. Johnston clears it away. He had 9 loan spells at 6 different clubs during his United career. 7 years he was actually at Old Trafford without making an appearance. As Ayew has dispossessed Amrabat. Casemiro slides in. Casemiro says he got the ball. Chris Kavanagh says it's a free kick to Crystal Palace.
Well, Amrabat just gets caught by Ayew, and Ayew drives with the ball. Casemiro wrong side, goes to ground. I think he's lucky not to see yellow there. Casemiro, Amrabat starting the game as a left back, but we've seen him drift into a central midfield area. Just took an extra touch. Jordan Ayew steals the ball off him, and Casemiro brings him down 30, 40, 35 yards out, would you say? He does get a yellow card, and I agree with that from Chris Kavanagh. Went to ground, he was wrong side. He's put himself under a little bit of pressure. He's asking the referee why. Because you were out of control, Casemiro, that's why. He was sent off in the corresponding fixture here in February when Manchester United won by 2-1. You do love your yardage, though. You like to guess it. I think you'd struggle during the golf commentary. You know, you hear Ian Carter and John Murray and Alistair Bruce Ball, and they nail it straight away.
Yeah, they are very precise individuals.
You'd go 30, 32, 33, several stabs at it before you get it. You can't do that.
No, apologies. That's why they're there in Rome, and I'm here in Manchester in the rain with you.
Yeah, and I'm alongside you. Eza to take the free kick, scoops it into the penalty area. 0-0 here at Old Trafford. The coverage, by the way, has been absolutely superb from Rome, and it will continue today as a cross comes in, and the header just flashes wide. Guéhi was up 8 yards out from goal. It's a dangerous ball in, and it was almost you'd have thought it would hit the target.
Well, Palace should be one up. I think it was centre-back to centre-back, wasn't it? Anderson out on that left-hand touchline. In fact, it's a poor clearance from Amrabat to Hughes. Pops the ball to Anderson, who chops inside in his right foot and whips a delightful ball in. Okay, he gets up early, pace on the ball, level with the near post, 6 yards out, cannot direct it on target.
Ball over the top towards Højlund. Guéhi now tries to get there. Højlund steers it goalwards. Terrific goal line clearance by Tyrick Mitchell. It was going in. He's just steered it past Johnston, who came off his goal line. But Tyrick Mitchell raced back and with his left foot hooks it off the goal line. We could have had a goal at either end.
That's magnificent from Mitchell. It really is. Højlund, strong run in behind, does so well to get to the ball before Johnston. Toe pokes the ball past him. It's heading in, and Mitchell, last ditch, hooks it away off the line. Brilliant defending.
The League Two leaders, Notts County, are behind at Colchester. Colchester 1, Notts County 0. No other goals to tell you about elsewhere, but 0-0 here. No goals as yet in any of the 3 o'clock games in the Premier League. But a Guéhi header at one end. He just couldn't quite get there. Højlund steered it past the keeper, but Tyrick Mitchell, terrific anticipation from the England international, the left back for Crystal Palace, and it remains 0-0. There's been a goal now at Molineux. Pat Murphy.
Goal for Wolves here. Pedro Neto made it with an incisive run down the right wing, showing great pace. His cross was inadvertently turned in by Nathan Ake. Neto will claim it. The loudspeaker says it's Neto, but more importantly, it's Wolves 1, Manchester City 0.
Well, that's an interesting scoreline. Manchester City, of course, the leaders, 6 out of 6 so far in the Premier League. Tasty defeat for the first time this season in midweek at St James's Park against Newcastle in the League Cup. Stockport County leading at Accrington by a 0-0. Dave Challinor's side have won their last 3, and it's Watford 0, Middlesbrough 2 now, a latest score in the Championship. Ball hit long by Casemiro. Mount chests the ball off. Bruno Fernandes lays it out towards Rashford. Good play by Manchester United. Rashford enters the penalty area, looks for a sight of goal, tries to get a shot away, comes back towards him. Second chance, it was stubbed wide, behind for a corner.
Well, it's Guéhi who does brilliantly, because Rashford cutting inside on that strong right foot of his. Ward and Ayew double up on him, but it's just persistence from Rashford, who bundles his way through, and Guéhi, 6 yards out, pops it behind for a Manchester United corner.
It was a swift move by Manchester United. So in front of the Stretford end, Mason Mount now with his left arm aloft, with the corner kick, right-footed towards the far post. Casemiro, no, it was Varane with a downward header, and it was off target. It'll be a goal kick. We'll check in at Bournemouth-Arsenal. John Southall.
14 minutes played, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 0. Arsenal slowly taking control of the game. One chance, Kai Havertz on the left of the area. His deflected shot into the side netting. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 0.
What about Everton-Luton? Mas Faruqi.
Just an effort early on from McNeil. He chested it down edge of the area and then volleyed it wide. Garner's flashed wide as well after a nice counter-attacking move forward. Good start this from Everton. Everton 0, Luton 0 though.
A goal at St James's Park, John Bennett.
A wonderful goal for Newcastle. Newcastle 1, Burnley 0. Miguel Almiron cutting in from the right-hand side, left-footed, flew into the net. Newcastle 1, Burnley 0.
4 unbeaten before today, 4 successive clean sheets too for Eddie Howe's side. Ward waiting to take the throw for Crystal Palace here at Old Trafford. We're in the 15th minute of this contest, where both managers with their overcoats on are standing in the rain. As Roy Hodgson, 76 last month, and looking in terrific health as well, after he missed the recent Villa game through illness, as the ball goes back to Onana, and he's approaching 500 games in English football. This is, I work out, game 498 for his management career in England. And you think that he had spells in Sweden, Switzerland, Italy, Denmark and Norway, just for club football alone.
Yeah, played under Roy, of course, for Blackburn Rovers. Brilliant manager, great football brain. That desire at 76 to still carry on sort of sums him up. He loves the game, doesn't he?
Yeah, began his coaching career in 1976. Yeah, in Halmstad in Sweden.
Blimey, I wasn't born then.
Neither was I. Onana hits it long downfield, up towards the head of Mason Mount. Mount then heads it again towards Rashford. The two of them are combining. There was Hughes though for Crystal Palace. Doucouré comes under pressure. Hughes helps him out again. Forward ball. And that is Schlupp running back, but running back almost into trouble. And then stepping out was Doucouré. He gives it away. And Manchester United pressing quite high up, not allowing Crystal Palace to get the ball out of their own half at that stage. Featured game in League One's at Broadhall Way. Nestor McGregor.
Yes, it's Stevenage 1, Oxford United 0. Simple as you like. Kane Hemmings doing all the running down the right hand side. He reached the byline, cut the ball back into the middle, and waiting for a tap in was his strike partner Jamie Reid. Simple tap in, his 6th goal of the season. Stevenage 1, Oxford United 0.
0-0 still here at Old Trafford. Newcastle are leading Burnley by 1-0. Wolves are 1-0 up against the leaders Manchester City. West Ham, Sheffield United 0-0, as it is at Goodison, Everton, Luton and Bournemouth, Arsenal, and a free kick here for the away side, Chris Sutton.
Manchester City in crisis, aren't they? At the minute behind against Wolves and lost in the week.
It's no longer goalless at Bournemouth. John Southall.
Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 1. Bukayo Saka at the back post, downward header 4 yards out, 5th of the season. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 1.
Hoyland with a shot on the edge of the area, hit it left-footed. It was always wayward, it was always off target. Goal kick, Crystal Palace 0-0.
Oh, it's dreadful from Doucouré, actually. Crystal Palace from the free kick, taking it short. Doucouré just dallies on the ball. It's Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount who's onto him, and Hoyland should have slipped the ball to the left-hand side to Marcus Rashford. Took the shot on high and wide.
Bristol City have got a second goal at home to Stoke City in the Championship. 2-0 at Ashton Gate. Stockport have increased their lead. They're now 2 up at Accrington. Who's up? Who's down in the Ryder Cup? Ian Carter.
Well, cheers echoing around the 13th green here. Birdie for Tommy Fleetwood, which gives the Europeans a chance of getting a hole back here. Fleetwood and Højgaard are 4 down on Homer and Harman, and Ludwig Åberg winning the 14th in the top match. They're only 4 down now, the Europeans, to Burns and Morikawa.
Thank you, Ian. Commentary on Sports Extra for the golf. You won't miss anything though whilst we're here on 5 Live, as Rashford is down at the moment, and there is a stoppage in play. Physio hasn't come on the field of play just as yet. He's helped to his feet. Looks like he's going to be okay to continue. So during the stoppage, we'll nip to West Ham. Henry Moran.
Good opportunity here for West Ham, because James Ward-Prowse has a free kick chance from the edge of the penalty area. It's not necessarily the side that he'd want it to be, but it is a chance. And you'd sense that West Ham's dominance will surely bear fruit soon. West Ham 0, Sheffield United 0.
Ward waiting to take the throw for Crystal Palace, near side the right, onto the chest of Ayew, dispossessed by Rashford, and then he's shinned that out of play for a Palace throw.
Oh, that was an awful shank from Marcus Rashford, trying to just clip a ball up the line, got that horribly wrong. I think Manchester United, they had that big chance with Højlund, who good run in behind, Mitchell clearing off the line, but it's maybe not been the start that Erik ten Hag would have wanted from his team. Roy Hodgson's team doing what they do really well.
Varane a little bit loose, almost caught out by Mateta, who closed him down.
But he's got the 2 centre-halves, Manchester United, and Casemiro ahead of him in midfield, and he's trying to slide a ball into Casemiro, cut out by Mateta, but gets away with it.
We're going to nip back to Rome, Ian Carter.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Max Homer follows Tommy Fleetwood in, so that 13th is halved, and the American pair are 4 up in that match with 5 to play.
Erik ten Hag in his programme notes was talking about the youngsters and how when they get a chance, it's a hard-earned one. They've got to make the most of it. They've got to be able to handle the demands of playing for Manchester United, and Pellistri on the back of that, making his first start in the Premier League after 7 previous substitute appearances in the top flight for Manchester United. But he sent in one cross from that far side, the right of that front three.
But do you know what? The other night, Tuesday night in the League Cup, what did Manchester United have with Pellistri and Garnacho and Hannibal? They had energy, didn't they? They had legs. They just lacked that spark in the first 20 or so minutes.
That's the familiar voice of Chris Sutton, the Premier League title winner, who's with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Watford have got a goal back at Vicarage Road in the Championship. Watford 1, Middlesbrough 2, and Kilmarnock are leading at Rugby Park against St Mirren by 1-0. So St Mirren, who are unbeaten and had a chance to close that gap to Celtic back to 2 points, have fallen behind. Back, let's find out how the leaders Manchester City are going. Have they responded to that goal that they conceded? Pat Murphy.
They have, but not too impressively. By the way, we're making that an own goal from Diaz, but created by the splendid Neto. Great incisive run, low cross, turned in by Diaz. Just one chance for City. Doku, too much space given across the face. They've got to concentrate now, Wolves. They've got to dampen down City because they'll go up another gear or two, I'm sure. Wolves 1, Manchester City 0.
Thank you, Pat. 0-0 here at Old Trafford. We're almost midway through the first half in the persistent rain as Lindelof goes back to Casemiro. Varane has gone far out wide. It's almost at times is with the way that Casemiro drops in between the two central defenders that they're playing with 3 at the back.
Yeah, they're very fluid. All teams are, aren't they, these days, where they just go from one formation to another. It's all pretty seamless. It's the best league in the world, Ian.
Notts County, the League Two leaders, have equalised at Colchester 1-1, and Exeter 0, Northampton 1 is the latest score in League One. Manchester United just had that flurry of activity, but apart from that, it's been quite like the weather, it's been quite dull so far between these two sides. Manchester United struggling to try and maintain a high level of pressure on the away side as Mason Mount runs forward now with Rashford. Rashford darts forward, accelerates, but Crystal Palace again deal with that quite comfortably. Anderson clears it.
Look, I think, I don't know what you think, Ian, I think Manchester United are more effective when they are countering. They're a counter-attack team. They get the first goal today, it'll probably be pretty comfortable for them.
Well, Crystal Palace are looking to counter, and Mateta has released Schlupp. The ball wouldn't go with him. It held up, but he still gets the shot away. That was blocked by Dalot on the cover on the edge of the area. Mateta just slid it forward in the central area of the field.
What a chance for Crystal Palace. Sloppy Schlupp there. Needed to take the ball in his stride, and he would have been through one-on-one. Had the run, didn't he, on the Manchester United defenders. That's a chance wasted.
Sloppy Schlupp, spirited Stoke. They've got a goal back. Bristol City 2, Stoke 1, Lincoln 2, Cheltenham 0. Newcastle Burnley, John Bennett.
It's 1-0 to Newcastle, who have picked up the pace since that brilliant goal by Almiron Longstaff with a half volley just wide. Newcastle United 1, Burnley 0.
Crystal Palace attacking, far side the left. Good ball in from Mitchell, cleared away on the volley by Varane. Mateta was lurking behind him. It was a teasing ball. That was sloppy. Given away. Now it's with Ayew, flicks it back to Hughes, dispossessed on the edge of the area. Crystal Palace win it back. Doucouré thought he was going to shoot from distance, finds Mateta just outside the D, can't get away from the 3 red shirts that surround him, and Mateta runs to this right-hand side of the penalty area and then loses the ball as Mason Mount looks to bring it away. And a goal at Goodison, Maz Faruqi.
And it's gone for Luton. Lockyer bundling in from a corner. Everton couldn't get the ball clear. It bounced off the crossbar. Lockyer pounced on it to give Luton the lead here. Everton 0, Luton 1.
Crystal Palace have been awarded a free kick near side the right. A goal elsewhere in the Premier League's at West Ham. Henry Moran.
West Ham 1, Sheffield United 0. Jared Bowen's first home goal of the season, his 5th in total. Cut back, rolled into the bottom corner. How easy could it possibly be? West Ham 1, Sheffield United 0.
Wimbledon have equalised at home to Tranmere 1-1. Oxford United are level at Stevenage. That also is 1-1. Salford lead Newport County by a 1-0. And Swansea have just taken the lead at Millwall in the Championship. Millwall 0, Swansea City 1. So Crystal Palace 0-0 here at Old Trafford. We've been playing for 25 minutes. Have a free kick just in from the right touchline. Almost level with the penalty area. Eze's going to take it. Left foot is held aloft for the England international. Manchester United have got everybody back. Eze, right-footed, arcs its way into the penalty area. What a finish by Anderson! He's hit it first time, and he finds the top right-hand corner. He struck that so sweetly. It's a surprising scoreline. Crystal Palace take the lead in some fashion, 1-0.
Well, that is a striker's finish. What a finish. Arrowed in from Anderson. Ball whipped in from the right-hand side. Goes all the way through to Anderson at the back post. It zips off the surface. I think there's a slight header, a touch from Højlund, but the ball sits up and Anderson, was he 12 yards out? And he fizzes the ball back across Onana into the far top corner. It's a brilliant finish. He's cushioned that ball, pace on the free kick, and he's cushioned it back across Onana into the far top corner. We've got a game on here.
And as a former striker, you must appreciate the technique.
Oh, it's wonderful from Anderson. He doesn't lace it, he uses the inside of his foot because pace was on the ball, and he just cushion volleys it back across Onana into the far top corner. It fizzes in, doesn't it?
It's the first time that Crystal Palace have scored in the first half all season. All 10 goals in all competitions as Rashford overhits that, but all 10 goals in all competitions this season so far scored in the second half as Manchester United go close to an equaliser. Bruno Fernandes with a snapshot more than anything else, right-footed, pulled it wide.
Yeah, I think it was Casemiro. In fact, the ball just drops. He's 25 yards out. Looks up to the heavens. He knows he should be hitting the target. Johnston dives to his right-hand side. Clever little cushion header from Darlow. Ball just sits up. Casemiro laces the ball. Oh, he's only a yard wide of that right-hand post of Johnston's goal.
Blackpool have scored their first goal away from home this season. They're leading at Oakwell. Barnsley 0, Blackpool 1, Wrexham 0, Crewe 1 is the latest score in League 2. Bradford City are leading Walsall by a goal to 0. Andy Cook scored a hat-trick last week for Mark Hughes' side, who are unbeaten in 5, and they're leading at Valley Parade. But Crystal Palace are ahead here. Let's get news of that goal for an Oxford United equaliser, Nesta McGregor.
Yeah, it came after 23 minutes. Greg Lee with it, an out-swinging cross from the right-hand side. Cameron Brannigan rose highest, but his header crashed against the bar. Lee had the simplest of tap-ins. All level here as second takes on third.
Manchester United with Fernandes lifts it onto Darlow right-hand side, heads it into the path of Palestri, right side of the penalty area. Palestri can't really get into the game. It's going to be a Crystal Palace throw. Another goal in the Championship. It's at Hull City. Niall McCorn.
Hull City 0, Plymouth Argyle 1. Hull had made the brighter start, but it's Plymouth who are in front with their first real attack of note. Bali Mumba weaving his way into the box, drawing a smart save from Ryan Alsop in the Tigers' goal, but it drops so invitingly for Adam Randall to slam home and hand the Pilgrims the lead. Hull 0, Plymouth 1.
Hull City, who had been previously unbeaten in 7. In League 1, Wigan are leading Portsmouth by a goal to 0. The leaders of League 1, Portsmouth then behind, unbeaten in 20 games in League 1, and Morecambe are leading at Forest Green by a goal to 0. Forest Green, who've lost all 5 matches at home in League 2, have fallen behind to Derek Adams' side. But we're approaching the half hour, and Crystal Palace are doing a bit of a number on Manchester United.
And tell us that stat you had about Roy Hodgson and his record at Old Trafford. What a good stat. You do have some.
He's unbeaten in his last 4 trips in the Premier League to Old Trafford. Up towards Mount, heads it back to Casemiro, quickly feeds it out towards Rashford, left corner of the area, good ball in, headed away by Anderson, drops on the edge of the area. Eze heads it further clear, and Dallow then is dispossessed. But no manager has achieved going 5 unbeaten in the league here at Old Trafford as Rashford. Left-hand side, Casemiro keeps it alive, pulls it back. Crystal Palace will defend in numbers now. and they'll make it very, very awkward for Manchester United. Walsall have equalised at Valley Parade. 1-1 there between Bradford and Walsall. Swindon lead Grimsby by a goal to nil, and Peterborough lead Bristol Rovers 1-0 in League One. Back to St James's Park, John Bennett.
Newcastle 1, Burnley 0. One to watch on Match of the Day though. Alexander Isak has missed an open goal. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Trafford made the save. It bounced up. Open goal. He put it wide. Newcastle 1, Burnley 0.
The US are still up in 2, all square in 1. Europe are up in the other in the Ryder Cup. Commentary continues on Sports Extra. Bruno Fernandes chips the ball in towards the penalty area, headed away by Gahey and then put further clear by Joel Ward. We'll go back to Preston. Katie Smith.
And it's Preston 0, West Bromwich Albion 2. Is it unravelling for Preston? It was West Brom on the attack. It looked like it had been dealt with the ball, but it's so slippy here in the rain. Alex Mowat pouncing on it and sliding at home. Preston 0, West Brom 2.
Eza gliding forward, releases the ball towards Mateta, and certainly Varane had to get there with a well-timed challenge inside the penalty area, and he did just that, Chris Sutton.
Oh, what a piece of play this is, though, from Eza. Taking the ball from inside his own half, turning Amrabat, driving 30-40 yards, pops it out to Mateta. Varane gets back and makes the challenge.
And it had to be well timed. He was already shaping to shoot as Mateta, as Varane nipped in. Salford, who've lost their last 6, were leading, but Newport County have pegged them back. Salford 1, Newport 1 is the latest score in League 2. It's the Crystal Palace supporters who are celebrating away towards our right-hand side. They're leading by a goal to nil. They take the throw short. Ayew trying to win a corner kick for his team. Instead, though, the ball goes out of play for a throw down by the corner flag as we go back to the Ryder Cup. And the latest from our correspondent, Ian Carter.
America on the verge of clinching the first point of the afternoon. They're 4 up with 4 to play. There's a 40-footer for Colin Morikawa on the 15th green, and if that goes in, then they'll have their first point of the afternoon. Europe are up in the bottom 2 matches. America ahead in the top 2.
Commentary on Sports Extra. Argentina 31, Chile 0 is the latest at the Rugby Union World Cup. Will Hughes has just been shown a yellow card by referee Chris Kavanagh. Will be going racing very, very soon for the Cambridgeshire at Newmarket with John Hunt. But another goal at Goodison Park, Mas Faruqi.
Another for Luton. Carlton Morris this time. An Alfie Doughty free kick found him free on the far side of the area. He tapped it into the back of the net. Everton 0, Luton 2.
Well, that is a bit of a blow for Everton after the excellent week that they've had. Elsewhere, I can tell you that there's been a sending off with Carlisle United down to 10 men as they're currently drawing at Adams Park. Wickham 0, Carlisle 0, but Anderson has been dismissed for Paul Simpson's team. Portsmouth have equalised at Wigan. Wigan 1, Portsmouth 1. Manchester United with Mount outside the centre circle of his own half. Up it goes in the air towards Palestri, but doesn't get much change out of Mitchell. Helped out by Hughes, plays it back. The rain falling even harder now here at Old Trafford. Cleared long by Mitchell, only as far as Lindelof. 12 minutes to go to half-time. Manchester United are behind. They've lost 3 out of their 6 games in the Premier League. Third time that it's happened in the Premier League, but they've never lost 4 out of their opening 7. Rashford running forward now, skips away from a challenge into the penalty area, tries to slide it through. Stopped though by Doucouré. Now he releases Ayew, held up by Amrabat. The Ghanaian goes down, and Amrabat with a foul, and that will be a free kick to Crystal Palace. Chris Sutton.
What a stupid foul to give away from Amrabat. Playing in a position where doesn't look overly comfortable at left back, but Ayew facing his own way, turned back towards his own goal. Very few options. Amrabat clatters into the back of him, and guess what? Bit of breathing space for Crystal Palace. Anderson in no rush to take this free kick. Manchester United went into the start of this game with momentum. That's fizzling out.
Kilmarnock 1, St Mirren 1 is the latest score. Colchester United are back in front, leading Notts County by 2 goals to 1. That was a dangerous ball put in by Ayew, and it's been skied behind by Varane.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Varane does the right thing. He's level with his near post. Onana sees the cross all the way. Should have been dominant there and come and claimed it. He was hesitant, and now another chance for Crystal Palace from a set piece.
They look a threat when they break the Crystal Palace. Corner kick, scored from a set piece of a free kick, delivered by Eza on this right-hand side. Here he is with the corner, right-footed. In it goes. It almost fell to Anderson again. gets the ball away. Decore tries to win it back on the edge of the area. Manchester United can't get the ball away. Palestri takes a tumble. Dalot hits it earlier on that right-hand side, but there was Mitchell back to head it forward. Henderson now towards Ayew. Manchester United player is down. The referee, Chris Kavanagh, I think it might be a head injury, so therefore he's taking no risks, and so a stoppage in play. 10 minutes to go to half-time here at Old Trafford. BBC Radio 5 Live. Manchester United 0, Crystal Palace 1. Back to the Ryder Cup we go. Ian Carter.
First point of the afternoon session goes to the United States. Sam Burns finishing it off in partnership with Colin Morikawa for a 4-3 win over Victor Hovland and Ludwig Aubert. It means the overall score 9.5, 3.5, but Nicolai Højgaard makes an important putt there in the second match out on the course on the 14th, so that could be interesting. They're 4 down in that one, the Europeans, but they're 1 up in the remaining 2 matches on the course.
So after that record deficit, they've got a point back. We will be going back to Rome at half-time, and then after the football, before we bring you commentary of Tottenham against Liverpool, and tomorrow, the third and final day, always a special day, Mark Chapman and co. on air from 10 o'clock in the morning on Singles Day. Nottingham Forest, Brentford tomorrow will be on Sports Extra. Rashford still getting a little bit of treatment here, so there's been a lengthy stoppage in play in this first half. Crystal Palace leading by 1-0. Wimbledon 2, Tranmere 1. Back to Molineux, Pat Murphy.
It's still Wolves 1, Manchester City 0. That Diaz own goal early on, but the siege is definitely on now from City. Sarr's meant to make a couple of important scrambling saves in the Wolves goal. They're getting a footing at the key moments of the Wolves defenders. They need the outlet on the wings more just to raise the siege, but they still lead Manchester City 1-0.
Match of the day tonight, and there's been goals in every game in the Premier League. Newcastle-Burnley, John Bennett.
1-0 to Newcastle, should be 2-0. Elliot Anderson diving head a couple of yards out. Brilliant save by James Trafford. Burnley living dangerously. Newcastle 1, Burnley 0.
Play is back underway. Marcus Rashford looks like he's going to be fit to continue. Just gets a gentle tap on the back from Ten Hag. Guéhi out towards Ayew. Well controlled by Jordan Ayew on this near right-hand side. Starting to see a little bit more of the ball now, Crystal Palace, Chris Sutton.
Well, they are, and the way they set up, they're not a team under Roy Hodgson who get the full-backs sort of on beyond their wide players. The full-backs are more back supports. And they've got the lead now. They're going to make it very frustrating, or try and make it frustrating for Manchester United. They do carry a threat when they go on forward, and they've won another corner.
You talk about that record. I know obviously in the League Cup they were beaten here in 3-0, but in league matches he's won 2 and drawn 2. Unbeaten then in his last 4 with Watford and Crystal Palace, having lost each of the 7 games previously. Now a corner kick to Crystal Palace, who lead by 1-0. And Eza over on that far side, the left, is going to take it. After this corner, we're going straight to West Ham United, where there's been another goal. West Ham were leading Sheffield United 1-0 the last we heard. Eza rolls it short to Hughes, gives it back to the England international. Plays it now out towards Decore, looks towards Hughes, cleared though by Fernandes. So come in, Henry Moran.
West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0. The blades being carved apart here as Thomas Souček rolls the ball in, and it is oh so easy for the Hammers. West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0.
You'd have to fear for Sheffield United, bearing in mind last time out they lost 8-0 of course at home to Newcastle United. Colchester 3, Notts County 1 is a latest score, so the leaders of League 2 have fallen further behind. Behind them it's second against third, and another goal for Chris Coles.
And Mansfield in third have an equaliser against Gillingham. Davis Keylor done with it. Controversy. Gillingham thought the free kick was taken far too quickly. Referee ignored their pleas. Davis Keylor done finished. Gillingham 1, Mansfield 1.
Celtic earlier beat Motherwell by 2-1. Aberdeen are leading at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 1, St Mirren 1 is a latest score at Rugby Park. Here is Mason Mount. We'll bring you news of that goal when we can. Hoyland just can't try and tee it up into the path of Mason Mount. Bruno Fernandes will head it out towards that far side. Dalot joins the attack. Here is Casemiro. He turns away from Schlupp. Every white shirt back behind the ball though for Crystal Palace, protecting the lead. As now this is Dalot for Manchester United. Fernandes on the overlap, wins a corner. News of that goal at Ibrox. Connie.
Rangers 0, Aberdeen 1. It was their first shot on target, their first shot in the entire game. In actual fact, in 39 minutes, it was Stefan Gartemann who got the final touch on it, poked into the back of the net past Jack Butland, silenced the crowd. Here at Ibrox, Rangers 0, Aberdeen 1.
Thanks, Connie. Corner kick from United, fired in and headed on at the near post and headed just wide. It was Casemiro who'd made that run into the near side of the 6-yard box. Goal kick, 1-0 Palace.
Yeah, run just beyond the near post, trying to use the pace of the ball and guide it on target. It's unlucky. It's good in the air. It's Casemiro. Guy follows him all the way in, and he's not far away.
What's the latest in the 4 balls at the Ryder Cup? Ian Carter.
Nikolai Højgaard's putt that I was telling you about, enough to win the 14th. So he and Tommy Fleetwood now 3 down with 4 to play, having been 4 down. And Rory McIlroy and Matt Fitzpatrick, they've just been pegged back by Patrick Cantlay. So the bottom match is all square. Remember, America taking the first match of the afternoon session. It's 9.5, 3.5 overall to Europe.
Sports Extra for the commentary. Manchester United with 5 minutes remaining of normal time here in the wet, grey, bleak conditions. As to be in the sunshine like the team in Rome. Here is Højlund.
You need to know something about golf.
Ball played forward to Palestri. I'm bad enough playing it, let alone commentating on it.
Yeah, just thinking that. I get nervous over the old 2-foot putts. My hands start shaking under that pressure. How do they handle that?
The yips. Manchester United, we talked before about Ten Hag saying about the youngsters need to handle the demands of playing for Manchester United. At the minute, you take away the Højlund effort that was cleared off the line by Mitchell, they haven't really created much, Manchester United.
No, I think that will be the disappointment. That will be the take from Erik Ten Hag in the first half. Yeah, Manchester United, the equivalent of the USA, I think, in terms of their performance in this first half. It's been insipid, it hasn't been good enough. Not enough chances created. It's all been pretty flat, hasn't it?
St Johnstone, who are yet to win in the Scottish Premiership, are leading at home to Livingston at McDermott Park. St Johnstone 1, Livingston 0. Wrexham have equalised at home to Crewe. That's 1-1 at the racecourse ground. Anderson, the goal scorer for Palace, lifts it long towards Eze, headed away by Casemiro. Ayew tries to win it back. Casemiro plays it early out of defence, played back in by Ward, headed out by Varane on the edge of the area, taken high on the chest by Hughes, central position, out towards Mitchell getting forward, prods the ball back towards Hughes, keeping the ball well under pressure, Crystal Palace. Doucouré back towards Hughes, 3.5 minutes to go to half time. It is Schlupp. Just shows a little bit too much of the ball to Palestri, who was fouled. Free kick to Manchester United midway through their own half. We go back to Goodison Park. Masfarouki.
Well, Everton have had the ball in the back of the net through Doucouré. It's being checked though because Lockyer went down in the area. Anthony Taylor's disallowed it on the field. VAR having a look. Come back to me, Ian.
We will indeed. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 1, Newcastle 1, Burnley 0. West Ham United 2, Sheffield United 0, Wolves 1, Manchester City 0. They're the latest scores on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. As here is Amrabat to Mason Mount, near side the left, gets a throw.
It doesn't help with Amrabat, a right footer playing left back. You know, you talk about balance. I've got Marcus Rashford. He was very good off that left hand side, but coming inside in his right foot, not too much balance.
Well, it was Amrabat's ball off that right foot that he's tried to spread on a diagonal out towards Palestri. It was intercepted by Palace, comes back towards Varane. Amrabat once again wandering into that midfield role just to try and keep things ticking over. He's in a very central role here. He is once more in that midfield role, where of course he provides a lot of the energy that we saw at the World Cup. So there is a natural outlet for Ayew on this near side, but at the minute Crystal Palace are just soaking up on this wet afternoon a lot of the pressure and doing so very, very comfortably. As Eze tries to get away on this near side the right, but it goes out of play for a throw. Penalty at Bournemouth, John Southall.
Penalty to Arsenal, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 1. Saka has just given the ball to Odegaard. So the captain, Martin Odegaard, in front of the Bournemouth fans in the sunshine on the south coast, will take the penalty for Arsenal to try and double their lead. Neto, the Brazilian in goal, just stutters, steps up, rolls it into the bottom left-hand corner. Arsenal in control, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2.
Don't forget 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton after the 5:30 commentary of Tottenham against Liverpool. 08085 909 693 as we're going to go racing. It's the Cambridgeshire at Newmarket. John Hunt.
One of the autumn's big handicaps, 34 runners blazing their way down the track just outside the final 3 furlongs in 3 groups here. Ian Grania leads with Oviedo over on the far side group. Meanwhile, Thunderball and Stay Weller, the leaders up the middle of the racecourse. The bigger group is down the near side where Arcube leads narrowly from Major Partnership, and the heavily backed favourite Greek Order is also in this group and trying to get a run through as well. So as they dash down, the three groups now converge. Thunderball, Oviedo and Grania still very much up with the pace with Stay Well. It's taking a little bit of time for the favourite Greek Order to pick up on the stand side, but he's starting to get there now. Also well up with the pace is the top weight Astro King. Astro King coming bursting through. Fine effort to win the Cambridgeshire. Astro King has beaten the favourite Greek Order, with last year's winner Majestic amongst the close-up beaten horses, possibly in third place. That's a huge effort, carrying top weight of 9 stone 12. Astro King has won the Cambridgeshire for Daniel and Claire Kubler, the trainer, and a second big winner of the day for Derby winning jockey Richard Kingscote.
Brilliant, thank you, John. Haven't missed anything whilst we've been away. It's still Crystal Palace who lead by a goal to nil. We're into a minimum of 3 minutes added on time here at Old Trafford. But of course, we did wonder, did that goal for Everton stand, Maz Faruqi?
It has. VAR deciding that Onana, when he was on the ground 4 yards out, was onside. It's been credited to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Everton 1, Luton 2.
Cross from Dalot on that right-hand side, turned away by the Crystal Palace defence, picked up by Fernandez. Back out it goes to Dalot on the right-hand side, shifts it away from Mitchell, delivers the low cross, cleared by Gahey, edge of the area. Header from Mount goes straight to Mateta. Mateta now can run it clear for Crystal Palace midway through his own half. He's got to go it alone, waits for the support. It comes in the shape of Jordan Ayew, latest to the Rugby Union World Cup. Argentina 45, Chile 5. From 8 o'clock tonight on Sports Extra, we'll have Scotland against Romania. Every game live across the network, whether it be 5 Live Sports Extra or online. And the Cricket World Cup starts on Thursday. England against New Zealand. So much to look forward to on BBC Radio 5 Live. Port Vale 0, Bolton 1 is the latest score in League One. What are your thoughts about Manchester United's performance in this first half, Chris Sutton, and that of Crystal Palace?
Well, not a great deal, not enough from Manchester United. He talked about them just getting the season up and running. They've had that one chance in the first half, but Palace have done what Palace do. They've been set up brilliantly defensively. That back line, experienced, really good understanding. They've got the two holding midfield players, Decore and Hughes, who sit in front and don't move. And it's been difficult for Manchester United to penetrate through the Palace back line, and Palace have carried that threat going forward. As they on the ball now, popping the ball out to the right hand side, and Ayew's been a decent outlet, good ball carrier for them. So frustrating from Manchester United's point of view.
But Crystal Palace have protected that lead very, very well. So we're in stoppage time here at Old Trafford. Back it goes to Johnston. Floats the ball out towards Ward, takes it on the chest, then lifts it forward first time. Ayew goes to ground from Lindelof, and a challenge from Ward on the back of Rashford. That'll be a free kick to the home side. We'll go to Molineux, Pat Murphy.
Still 1-0 to Wolves a minute before half-time. Hwang nearly made it 2 in this fast, incisive break. Just let down at the last moment. That could have been absolutely decisive. They just need half-time now, Wolves. They lead 1-0 against Manchester City.
Third yellow card of the afternoon has been shown, and it goes to Joel Ward for that challenge on Rashford, who has been in the wars a little bit in this first half.
Yeah, he has been. I've got to say, it's been a good battle, that Rashford against Ward, but Ward, foolish challenge now. Yellow card, quite rightly so. He's put himself under pressure, because that has been where Manchester United have looked like carrying a bit of a threat on that left-hand side, with Rashford running at Ward.
We'll get news of a Hull City equaliser, 1-1 at home to Plymouth in a moment, but this free kick for Manchester United in the stoppage time of the first half, trailing by a goal to nil. Bruno Fernandes to take it, right-footed, on the diagonal, right down the throat of Johnston.
That's awful. That is dreadful.
There's the half-time whistle. Niall McCall, news of that goal at Hull.
Tigers have bitten back. Regan Slater has scored. Jayden Philogene with all of the hard work on the far side before Slater finished off into an empty net. Hull City 1, Plymouth 1.
Well, an excellent half for Crystal Palace then, leading by a goal to nil. Anderson with a sweet strike, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, I mean, Manchester United's half pretty much summed up with that free kick at the end from Bruno Fernandes. Must have been 20-25 yards off from where he was aiming to float the ball in. But Crystal Palace have done a job on Manchester United. Brilliant finish from the Palace centre-half, Joachim Anderson. Stunning finish to put them in front, and they've looked pretty comfortable.
Did you listen to any of the golf coverage yesterday?
Yeah, I've listened to it.
Yeah, I struggled to sleep last night because Mark Chapman likened himself to Annika Rice, and I just had a vision of him being in like a pink jumpsuit and maybe a new TV series that could be in the offing, Challenge Chappers.
Challenge Chappers, in a pink jumpsuit,
He was out of breath as well. It was uncomfortable.
I'd watch that, I'd listen to that.
Yeah.
You're wrong about the TV series, but you're both right about the jumpsuit. Let's go to what's happening on the course here in Rome. The USA have already claimed one of the 4 balls this afternoon. Morikawa and Sam Burns winning 4 and 3 against Hovland and Ergar. So, I've got football and golf on the brain at the moment. Ian, I'm just going to mix up everything. I mean, I've got Hoyland, Højgaard, everything going on. So, USA have won that, so they've taken themselves a further point on. At the moment, the 4 balls is projected to finish 11-5 because elsewhere, Ian, the US are up in 1, Europe are up in 1, and 1's all square.
Yes, so the situation is Tommy Fleetwood and Nicolai Højgaard, they're just clinging on against Max Homa and Brian Harman, but the Americans are in charge there. There are only 4 holes to be completed, and the Americans are 3 up in that match. This is a key one. Justin Rose and Bob McIntyre, they're walking down in front of me here on the 13th against Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth, who've never been beaten in 4 balls before. And as it stands at the moment, the Europeans are 1 up. They've hit 2 fantastic tee shots into the par 3, but there's an American birdie chance as well. And in the bottom match, it's all square. I think Rory McIlroy looking very tired with Matt Fitzpatrick against Patrick Cantlay and Wyndham Clark, but all square in that bottom match. An awful lot of drama to play out as the afternoon goes on.
Rory McIlroy and Victor Hovland, the Europeans who have played in every match, and of course they'll play in the singles. That means they will play all 5, and Hovland lost his match earlier, as I was saying, playing alongside Ludwig Herbert. They lost 4 and 3 to Sam Burns and Colin Morikawa. There are still games being played, plenty of stoppage time being played. Crew have just retaken the lead at Wrexham in League 2. They lead by 2 goals to 1 there. Chris Long has scored that from the penalty spot. That's his 6th of the season. And Newport lead have now trailing at Salford. Salford 2, Newport 1, thanks to Declan Drysdale putting through his own goal. Let's go back to the Premier League. Good first half for the home side at Molineux. Pat Murphy.
Terrific effort from Wolves to lead 1-0. Neto has worried the life out of Man City down the right wing, and his incisive run over 50 yards, deflected into his own net by Diaz, was the crucial moment. He's a tremendous outlet, Neto, and he's been in great form this season. Every time City have threatened, a foot has got in from a Wolves defender. Sarr hasn't really made any important saves, just a half scare in the last minute. Diaz at the other end, a header into the safe arms of Sarr. So much they need to do in their second half, Wolves, but a very encouraging half from them. Wolves 1, Manchester City 0.
Walsall have turned it around at Bradford in League 2. They're unbeaten in 5 at Bradford, but Walsall have come from a goal down to lead by 2-1 as they approach the break there. Comfortable first 45 for Arsenal, I think. John Southall.
Absolutely, very comfortable for the away side. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2. The opening goal 17 minutes into the half. Gabriel Jesus on the left, headed it against the bar, and Bukayo Saka nodded in the rebound, his 5th of the season, 4th in the league. The second just before half-time. Max Aarons brought down Eddie Nketiah, no doubt about the penalty, and Martin Odegaard dispatched it into the bottom left-hand corner for Bournemouth. One moment, right on half-time, Ryan Christie on the left of the area, into the ground, held by Raya. Long way back for Bournemouth. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2.
Luton looking for their first Premier League win of the season. Luton on course for their first Premier League win of the season. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, half-time, Luton lead 2-1 here at Everton. Lockyer quickest to react when the ball bounced off the Everton crossbar after a scramble from a corner. The second from who else? Carlton Morris. An excellent free kick from Alfie Doughty, finding him free in the area on the far side. Luton have really made the most of their set-piece opportunities. Everton have looked good going forward, and we'll wonder how they go in trailing, to be honest, but they have that Dominic Calvert-Lewin goal scored just before half-time, given after a lengthy VAR review to build on. Garner has hit the crossbar as well with a header. Everton trail at half-time, but they finally have scored here at Goodison Park this season. Everton 1, Luton 2 at half-time.
Another difficult 45 minutes for Sheffield United. Henry Moran.
West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0. This one rather going as expected. Top scorer Jarrod Bowen got things rolling, almost passing Koufal's cutback beyond Foderingham, and a similarly delicate finish from Thomas Souček doubled the lead after yet another sloppy pass gifted the ball to the Hammers. Sheffield United have created a couple of sights of goal, but their defence just looks so vulnerable every single time West Ham come forward. An 8-0 defeat last week, 2-0 down already today. Tough times for the Blades. West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0.
Next to St James's Park, John Bennett.
Yeah, Newcastle 1, Burnley 0 at half-time. Newcastle actually made a slow start, but a moment of brilliance got them going. Miguel Almiron cutting inside, just outside the D, a left-footed screamer past James Trafford in the Burnley goal. And after that, it was home team dominance. Alexander Isak somehow missed an open goal, unbalanced after a rebound off the goalkeeper. And Trafford made a great save to deny Elliot Anderson's diving header. Newcastle 1, Burnley 0.
Earlier on in the Premier League, it finished 6-1 to Aston Villa against Brighton. Early in the Championship, Southampton 3, Leeds 1. Here at the Ryder Cup on my monitor, Jordan Spieth is shouting at himself, having left a birdie putt short. That would have given them an opportunity to pull the Europeans back. We'll head out to Ian Carter. We'll go to Ian Carter now.
And now a big moment for Justin Rose. He's got the opportunity to put the Europeans 2 up in this match. He had a superb tee shot in to no more than 9 feet from the hole. Both Americans have missed their putts, Spieth and Justin Thomas. So this for a birdie, and there's an even shorter birdie chance to come if this doesn't go in for Bob McIntyre, and it would put the European pair 2 up in this match. The top match has already been won by the Americans. The Americans in charge of the second one. The final match is tied and very, very tense. And this for a bit of daylight. Putting from his shadows, Rose putting down the slope, sends it on its way, borrowing from left to right, and it borrows just too much, Chappers, and it misses on the right side. But Bob McIntyre with a chance to come in just a moment.
He's had a few chances as Bob McIntyre, and he hasn't really taken them. So will he take that one for the Europeans? On the par 3 13th, it would take them 2 up. The US are 3 up in the second match out, all square in the Rory McIlroy match. Earlier in the Championship, Southampton 3, Leeds 1. So Leeds' unbeaten run of 6 games is over. To the 3 o'clock games, Lee Blakeman at Huddersfield.
Huddersfield 0, Ipswich 0. A steady 0-0 though that's seen Huddersfield have the better of the chances. Karoma went through one-on-one. Great save by Haladki to tip it onto the bar. Karoma's gone close from distance a couple of times too, as has Bergzorg. Ipswich's best and only real chance, a George Hurst header from 10 yards straight at the keeper. 0-0.
Preston unbeaten in 7 in the league. They've had a poor first half though. Katie Smith.
Yeah, they've offered really very little. Preston 0, West Brom 2. Only team unbeaten. That might not be for much longer. Brilliant performance from West Brom. Low shot from the edge of the D for Furlong. Mowat doubled the lead after 30 minutes. Mark, we're about to have a special moment though here at half-time to thank Simon Nash, aka the Deepdale Duck, who served as the club's mascot for 27 years. He's going to walk out here on the pitch. Joined us on the Monday Night Club a few weeks ago. Might need to employ some of his mascot dark arts here if Preston are going to get anything.
Join Kelly on the Monday Night Club just to...
No, I know. I said we. It was the BBC we.
I know, but I'm distancing myself from interviewing a duck. Ian Carter.
Unbridled joy on the 13th here. Bob McIntyre rolling in his birdie putt to double the lead for the Europeans. Boy, he gave it a roar. Didn't he give it an uppercut as well in celebration? Brilliant stuff from McIntyre. Rose and McIntyre 2 up after 13 on Thomas and Spieth.
Big putt for the Scotsman. Let's go back to the football. Hull Plymouth, Niall McCorn.
Hull 1, Plymouth 1 at half-time. Plymouth haven't won a game away from home in the Championship this season, but they were almost halfway there this afternoon against Hull. Adam Randall's goal would have seen them go into the break in front. Bali Mumba causing the issues on the left before Allsop's save just fell perfectly for Randall to thrash home from a few yards out. But that was until Hull City scored late in this opening salvo. Regan Slater rolling into an unguarded net after Jaden Philogene skillfully kept the ball in play and found the cutback to tie us up. Agitation for Argyle, who had hit the post through Finazaz before Hull equalised, but all square at half-time. Hull City 1, Plymouth Argyle 1.
Rory McIlroy has just holed a 5-foot putt to keep their match all square in the final 4 ball here at the Ryder Cup. Elsewhere in the Championship, Bristol City 2, Stoke 1. Sam Bell's 4th of the season, and Naki Wells with the goals for Nigel Pearson's side. It's goalless between Cardiff and Rotherham. Swansea lead at Millwall by a 0-0 thanks to Jamal Lowe's penalty. They're looking for another win in the Championship. They got their first last week when they beat Sheffield Wednesday. It's goalless between Norwich and Birmingham. Birmingham and between QPR and Coventry. Watford 1, Middlesbrough 2. The side who have just come off the bottom of the league of Middlesbrough, they're now in 22nd. Riley McGree has got both of those goals, and that means he's got 5 for the season now. Into League One, Barnsley 0, Blackpool 1. That's their first away goal of the season. They've got it at Oakwell. Jordan Rhodes got it from the penalty spot, and he's got 5 for the season. Derby 0, Cambridge 0, Exeter 0, Northampton 1. It's goalless between Fleetwood and Leyton Orient. Lasse Sorensen has got both of the Lincoln goals, and they lead Cheltenham by 2-0. Cheltenham still waiting to score. They've set this new EFL record of failing to score in their first 9 league games of a season. Peterborough lead Bristol Rovers by 1-0. Port Vale 0, Bolton 1. Goalless between Reading and Burton, and Shrewsbury and Charlton. It's third against second between Stevenage and Oxford, and that's level at 1-1 at the break. And Portsmouth, the leaders, are 2-1 up at Wigan. It's also Wycombe 1, Carlisle 0, and Carlisle are down to 10 in that game. Let's go into League 2, our featured game. Gillingham against Mansfield. Chris Coles.
1 apiece. Spicy game this, mainly down to the referee's decision to allow Mansfield's equaliser. It came from a quickly taken free kick. Far too quickly, thought Gillingham. Not so, said the referee. Davis Keillor-Dunn finished calmly. 2 furious protestations from Gillingham players and fans. Macaulay Bonds, first for the club, had put Gillingham in front inside 2 minutes. Definite edge to this. Gillingham 1, Mansfield 1.
Elsewhere in League 2, Accrington 0, Stockport County 2, AFC Wimbledon 2, Tranmere 1. Barrow lead Doncaster by 1-0. Bradford 1, Walsall 2. The leaders, Notts County, trailing at Colchester, who are 20th. Colchester 3, Notts County 1. Crawley leads Sutton by 1-0. Adam Campbell with his 4th of the season getting that goal. Forest Green Rovers 0, Morecambe 1. That's 6 for the season for Michael Mellon. MK Dons 0, Harrogate 1. Salford 2, Newport 1. Swindon 1, Grimsby 0. 7 for the season for Daniel Kemp. He's got that goal. And Wrexham are down to 10, and they trail Crewe by 2-1. In the National League, AFC Fylde 0, Woking 1, Aldershot 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Bromley 0, Gateshead 0, Ebbsfleet 2, Boreham Wood 1, Halifax 0, Eastleigh 1, goalless between Hartlepool and Dorking, Kidderminster 0, Barnet 2, Maidenhead 1, Chesterfield 0, Rochdale 2, Southend 1, Wealdstone 1, Oldham 1, and York lead Solihull Moors by 1-0. Earlier in the Scottish Premiership, Celtic left it late to win 2-1 at Motherwell. Rangers trail at the break. Connie.
Rangers 0, Aberdeen 1. Stefan Gartman opened the scoring with Aberdeen's first shot of the entire game, and it looked as though the plan from Barry Robson was to try and absorb all the pressure Rangers threw at them and just hit them on the break when that came. It looked a bit of a risky strategy given the fact Rangers had 4 clean sheets in a row before this one. However, so far so good. Cyril Dessers had a couple of chances for the home side. He should have done better with all of them, and with Celtic, as you mentioned, Mark, extending the lead at the top earlier, they'll have to do better in the second. It's also, by the way, Armed Forces Day. It's not just something that we'll do at half-time every game in Scotland, to have a pipe band. It sounds nice though. Rangers 0, Aberdeen 1.
Hibs 0, Dundee 0, Kilmarnock 1, St Mirren 1, Ross County 0, Hearts 0, St Johnstone lead Livingston by 1-0. In League 1, Alloa 0, Edinburgh 0, Falkirk 0, Montrose 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Queen of the South 1, Dumbarton leads Stranraer 2-1 in League 2, East Fife 1, Forfar 0, Peterhead 2, Elgin 0, Spartans 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, and Stenhouse Muir 1, Clyde 0. At the Rugby Union World Cup, Argentina are beaten Chile by 59 points to 5, and in Super League, St Helens 16, Warrington 8 is how it finished in the elimination playoff. USA, Brian Harman and Max Homer 3 up with 3 to play, so they're guaranteed another half there of the USA, but Rose and McIntyre are 2 up in their game through 13. McElroy and Fitzpatrick all square through 12 in the final game. The score at the moment, Europe 9.5, USA 3.5, back to Old Trafford after the latest news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The school coach driver who died after a crash on the M53 in Wirral has been named as 40-year-old Stephen Shrimpton. Jessica Baker, who was 15, also lost her life after the coach hit the reservation and overturned on Friday. Rishi Sunak has set out plans which he says will slam the brakes on what he calls anti-motorist measures. The proposals include restrictions on councils in England imposing 20-mile-an-hour speed limits. Labour is accusing the government of pure hypocrisy. And rail passengers are facing disruption as train drivers hold fresh strikes. Workers across 16 train companies have walked out in their long-running dispute about pay and conditions.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
And very quickly, because somehow I managed to miss out the Scottish Championship, Arbroath 0, Inverness 2, Ayr 0, Wraith 2, Dundee United 1, Queen's Park 1, Morton 0, Airdrieonians 1, Partick Thistle 1, Dunfermline 0. You're up to date. Back to Old Trafford, where Crystal Palace lead by a goal to 0. Chris Sutton and Ian Dennis.
And just back underway. Neither side has made a change at half-time. Manchester United trailing by a goal to 0. That sweet strike from Anderson after 25 minutes for Crystal Palace, who in this second half are playing from right to left as we look, as they attack the Stretford end in their white shirts with the light blue sash and the sky blue shorts against the Manchester United side in their red shirts, white shorts and black socks, therefore from left to right. And I'll run through the two teams for you as Lindelof passes the ball forward to Mason Mount. He goes out wide towards Rashford. Rashford now looking to try and attack Ward, who's on a yellow card. On the overlap is Mount with the cross, cleared away on the volley though by Hughes. Amrabat lets it ride down his chest. Onana's in goal for the home team. Dalot, Varane, Lindelof and Amrabat is the back four. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro and Mount with Pellistri, Højlund and Rashford. That's the Manchester United starting lineup. Here is Lindelof looking for a run of Bruno Fernandes. The layoff intercepted by Anderson, who manages to clear it away. And for Crystal Palace, they have Sam Johnston in goal. A back four of Ward, Gahey, Anderson the goal scorer and Mitchell. Hughes, Decore, Schlupp, Eze and Ayew and Mateta in the absence of Edouard. And they've defended very, very well, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, they've been superbly organised, as you'd expect from a Roy Hodgson team. Really important second half this for Manchester United. It's a case of what have you got, but just in the opening 2 minutes they just seem to have a bit more of a spark in this second half.
Over the head of a leaping Dalot, played away by Gahey. Schlupp now will run forward on this near side the left, and he passes the ball towards Mateta, but Mateta's not going to get there. It runs out of play for a goal kick. Uninterrupted coverage of the golf is on Sports Extra. This is the latest though from the Ryder Cup with Ian Carter.
Here on the 13th, a sensational putt from Matt Fitzpatrick has put the Europeans in the ascendancy on this 13th hole, all square. Fitzpatrick and McIlroy. Here's Patrick Cantlay looking for the half and missing. They've got one more putt to go at it, Wyndham Clark, but it looks like the Europeans might go up in this one. Brilliant putt from Fitzpatrick.
Pellistri with the cross, downward header by Gahey, goes out of play for a throw. So the Ryder Cup will naturally be hogging the back pages and the headlines of Sunday's newspapers tomorrow, and so could this scoreline if it stays like this at Molineux. Pat Murphy.
Still Wolves 1, Manchester City 0, but at the half-time break Guardiola had substituted Matheus Nunes, much to the delight of the Wolves fans used to cheer him on a month or so ago, but he's been substituted by Oscar Bob. We don't know whether he's injured or not, but what a waste of money was the chant from the Wolves supporters when that news seeped through. Wolves 1, Manchester City 0.
Fernandes with the corner on the right-hand side, aimed towards Casemiro, held off by Gahey. Amrabat heads it out towards the left corner of the penalty area towards Marcus Rashford, still looking for an equaliser. There's no red on the board here at Old Trafford as they're behind to Crystal Palace by a goal to 0, but what's the latest in Rome? Ian Carter.
Wyndham Clark up to it, he comes up with the equaliser there, holds his 6-footer, halved in birdie twos. The bottom match remains all square. Fitzpatrick and McIlroy against Cantlay and Clark.
Rugby Union World Cup tonight, Scotland's on Sports Extra at 8. The Cricket World Cup starts on Thursday, that's on Sports Extra. England against New Zealand. We've got the golf, obviously, the football, and we've even got 5 Live boxing tonight at around 10:30 from Wembley. Jai Opataya up against Jordan Thompson, live on 5 Live. You can have your say, of course, with Chris Sutton, the man alongside me here at Old Trafford, after we've brought you Tottenham-Liverpool, which should be an absolute cracker in North London. Commentary of that on 5:30. Pellistri, his first Premier League start, running in field, the young Uruguayan. Interception though from Decore, still no way through as the rain continues to pour down. Casemiro back towards Pellistri, right hand side of the penalty area. Gahey's done very, very well again.
He's had a brilliant game so far. Mark Gahey read the play really well as Pellistri was driving towards him, taking up some great positions when Manchester United have got crosses into the box as well.
Notts County, the League Two leaders, have got a goal back at Colchester. Colchester United 3, Notts County 2. Manchester United seeing a lot more of the ball, but that was intercepted by Anderson. Potential break on here for Palace. Eza. Now he's got options left, right and centre. Mateta through the middle. Jordan Ayew out towards the right. Schlupp to the left. He goes towards the Ghanaian. Back towards Eza. Right corner of the area. He waits. Ayew still provides the width over on that far side and tries to go on the outside and does so. Down towards the byline, and then in the end it's going to be a goal kick. Last touch off Jordan Ayew. So Manchester United still trail. Arsenal, though, the last we heard, were comfortable at Bournemouth. John Southall.
Remains the case. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2. They've really come out flying in this second half. Neto smothered Saka's efforts. Zinchenko on the rebound smashed it over the bar via a deflection. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2.
Stoke City, who were 2-0 down at Bristol City, are back all square. Bristol City 2, Stoke City 2. Peterborough 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Forest Green 0, Morecambe 2 is the latest score in League 2. And you're up to date. 5 Live, the World Service. We're also live on BBC Sounds here at Old Trafford. 6 minutes into the second half on this busy Saturday afternoon. Dallow inside now to Mount. Forward ball to Hoyland. Side on to goal. Holds off to Corey. Lays it to Amrabat. Now finds Rashford. Left corner of the area. Down towards the byline he goes on that far side, the left, tries the little cut back. Casemiro is there, offering the support. He keeps it now towards Fernandes, sends over the cross, volleyed away by Anderson. We'll go to the northeast, John Bennett.
Newcastle 1, Burnley 0. Kieran Trippier so close to a goal on his 400th career appearance. His shot deflected inches wide. Newcastle 1, Burnley 0.
What have you made of the start from Manchester United in this second half, Chris Sutton?
I think there's a great deal more urgency. You know what's at stake, Manchester United do. I think it was all a little bit flat in the first half, but they seem to be getting more crosses into the box, pushing Crystal Palace further back. Just needs that one moment of quality, one of the Manchester United players to change this game. That was a forced pass from Amrabat, who once again has started as left back but drifted into that midfield area for Manchester United.
Well, it's never flat at Selhurst Park, one of the more vibrant atmospheres in the Premier League. Their supporters haven't stopped singing in the little quadrant away towards our right-hand side as the Manchester United fans try and raise the atmosphere inside Old Trafford, still trailing by 1-0. Here is Mason Mount trying to get things going in the midfield, surrounded by the white shirts, cleared away by Ward. Mount thought that he was fouled. Referee Chris Kavanagh says no, and that loose ball is picked up by Onana. Wrexham 2, Crewe 2 is the latest score in League 2. Here is Pellistri on this near side, the right, lays it off to Amrabat. Started out as a left back. He's just roaming now, isn't he, the Moroccan?
No, he is, and just trying to get an overload in that central area. But Palace, they'll stick to their game plan, won't they? Hughes and Doucouré just are not moving, sitting in front of that solid back four. It's going to take something special.
Casemiro finds Rashford off the chest, left corner of the area. Just behind him is Mason Mount, finds him. The two England internationals combine. Rashford now with an effort, headed out by Anderson. Still solid as ever by that Crystal Palace defence. Varane now plays it into the penalty area. The acrobatics from Casemiro. Well, he got the connection, just couldn't get the accuracy. Goal kick.
Yeah, it's from quite a central area. Varane driving with the ball 30-35 yards out. Not a good crossing position. Casemiro attacks the box as he does very well. The ball's behind him. It may just be offside actually, but tries to get an overhead kick on target. Is off target.
Another penalty at Bournemouth, John Southall.
Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2. Another penalty for Arsenal. It looked like Bukayo Saka was going to take the penalty, but he's just given the ball to Kai Havertz, yet to score for Arsenal in his opening 10 games of this season. He's divided the fans, Kai Havertz, but in his pink boots, he's going to take this penalty for Arsenal, which will surely put the game beyond Bournemouth. Kai Havertz in his fluorescent yellow top, 29 on his back, on his left foot, guides it into the bottom left-hand corner, and the Arsenal fans away to the left-hand side celebrate Kai Havertz's first goal for the club. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3, game over.
Arsenal will remain unbeaten and Bournemouth will still be yet to win. There's a free kick to Manchester United. Fleetwood lead Leyton Orient by 1-0, and it goes. And it's Anderson running in to his own goal, who on the run turns it behind for a corner kick. Watford, who were 2-0 down, have now level at home to Middlesbrough in the Championship at Vicarage Road. Watford 2, Middlesbrough 2, and Crawley leads Sutton by 2-0. In fact, that's going to be a free kick to Crystal Palace.
Hoyland's really lazy, standing in an offside position. I was really critical of Bruno Fernandes right on half-time for a poorly taken free kick, but he was bang on the money there. Hoyland lazy, offside.
Barrow 2, Doncaster 0, latest score in League 2. What's the latest at Goodison, Maz Faruqi?
Both sides made half-time changes. Jack Harrison on for Everton in the Premier League, on for Gay. Mads Anderson for Reece Burt for Luton. Luton still lead 2-1 here at Goodison Park.
Yeah, Harrison made his debut in the League Cup in midweek at Aston Villa. As here is Hoyland. Hoyland towards Palestri back, might run towards Mount. Anderson with a challenge. Hoyland to Bruno Fernandes, shot blocked by Mitchell. Again, brilliant defending by Crystal Palace. So much resilience from that back line. Manchester United, though, aren't finished. In towards Hoyland, backing into his man. Partially cleared. Fernandes tipped over by Johnston. Much better for the home team.
Yeah, and some brilliant defending as well, as you quite rightly said, Ian. Palace putting the bodies on the line, and eventually the ball comes out to Bruno Fernandes, 25 yards out centrally. He tries to whip reversible past Johnston, who stands big.
In comes the corner from that far side, the left. Flying header out by Gahey. Only as far as Dallow. Chips it back in towards the penalty area. Another good header away by Ward. Successive corners. And Crystal Palace now have their backs to the wall as they protect that first half goal from Anderson. Norwich lead Birmingham by 1-0 in the Championship. No other goals to tell you about. Corner taken quickly on that left-hand side. Fernandes clips over the cross. Pushed away by Johnston. Just tried to repel that header from Hoyland. Manchester United now are coming on strong.
Yeah, it's a good header from Hoyland. Well worked short corner, back to Fernandes, crossed in from the left-hand side, right-footed. Hoyland helps the ball on target. Johnston, another important save.
Playing with wit, the crowd responding. Manchester United feeding off the crowd. Palestri wins a corner on this near side. We've been playing for nearly an hour. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. Ryder Cup weekend live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Manchester United 0, Crystal Palace 1. Mount, near side the right-footed. Johnston fists it. Doesn't really get much on it. Header away by Decore, taken behind the chest by Eze, lifted further away by Decore and played all the way back by Bruno Fernandes. Let's go back to Rome. Ian Carter.
Another sensational moment in this Ryder Cup as Tommy Fleetwood chips in to keep his match alive at the 16th, and he goes to the 17th tee now. 2 down with 2 to play, still fighting.
Commentary on Sports Extra. Livingston have equalised at McDermott Park in the Scottish Premiership. St Johnstone 1, Livingston 1. 1-0 here to Palace. Here is Mateta. Challenged by Dallow. Last touch comes off Mitchell. United throw.
Do you know what the thing is, though, with Crystal Palace? They are the type of team, they can suck it up and just have that one break and put this game to bed. But good response from Manchester United in this second half. It's all Manchester United.
Here is Palestri, seeing a lot more of the ball, the little Uruguayan, on his first Premier League start. Ball then played back by Lindelof, then to Varane, now out towards Dallow. Dallow on this near side, the right. Mitchell's ahead of him. This is Casemiro, leaves it for Fernandes, chips the ball out towards Rashford. Rashford, they're appealing for handball there as it drops over. Rashford, strong appeals. It was Joel Ward who closed him down. Now, the close proximity of Joel Ward, it'll be checked naturally. Bruno Fernandes is shielding the United players away from referee Chris Kavanagh.
Well, close proximity, you're right, and the position of the arm. It's another part of the criteria, and you can see the Manchester United players surrounding the referee. They're actually not allowed to do that. Let's have a look. Left-footed cross from Bruno Fernandes. Marcus Rashford takes a poor touch.
Well, his arms are down by his side as well.
Yeah, hits him, is actually not looking at the ball, his arms by his side. That cannot be given.
No way.
It cannot be given.
No chance. In comes the corner, left-hand side, headed out by Hughes. Palace still lead by 1-0. Amrabat can't get there. Mitchell now will chip the ball away, but because Crystal Palace had everybody back, it's going to keep coming back at them. The leaders and the champions were behind the last we heard from Patrick Molyneux.
They've equalised, direct free kick, Julian Alvarez, magnificent technique, curling right foot. Wolves were not happy about the free kick award on the edge of the box from Craig Pawson, but there's no doubt about the quality of that free kick from Alvarez. Wolves 1, Manchester City 1.
So 1-1 there. Elsewhere, Arsenal are leading Bournemouth by 3-0. Everton 1, Luton 2. Newcastle still lead Burnley by 1-0. West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0. Commentary to come, Tottenham Liverpool at 5:30. After full time here at Old Trafford, we'll go back to Rome with Mark Chapman just to take in everything that's happened in the Ryder Cup, as Manchester United are going to be making a change. Alejandro Garnacho is the player who's going to be coming on, and he is going to be replacing Pellistri. Bradford City 1, Walsall 3 is the latest score. Colchester have another 2-goal cushion against the League 2 leaders Notts County. Colchester 4, Notts County 2, and Cardiff lead Rotherham by 1-0. Cardiff looking for a 4th straight win earlier in the Championship. Southampton, after losing their last 4, ended Leeds United's 6-match unbeaten run. 3-1 winners at St Mary's. Motherwell 1, Celtic 2 was a full-time score in the Scottish Premiership, and Aston Villa thanks for a hat-trick from Ollie Watkins, as Brighton conceded 6 for the first time in 11 years. Villa 6, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Crystal Palace though lead here by 1-0. Accrington 0, Stockport County 3 is the latest score. What's the latest in a featured game in League 1? Nestor McGregor.
It is Stevenage 1, Oxford United 2. Greg Lee take about his second goal of the game. A lofted ball into the box. It bounced over him, but he watched it over his shoulder and then in one movement turned left-footed volley, roof of the net, keeper no chance. Stevenage 1, Oxford United 2.
61 minutes played. Manchester United still looking for an equaliser. Casemiro midway through the Palace half. Bruno Fernandes able to turn, sends over the cross. Guehi heads it away for Palace. Fernandes then lays it in towards Casemiro.
Where was this tempo from Manchester United in the first half? It simply wasn't there.
Ball from Casemiro. It'll reach Garnacho, left corner of the area. Shoots low. Never going to trouble Johnston. Tame effort, really.
Yeah, well, Garnacho's gone out to the left-hand side where Marcus Rashford started. Rashford over to the right now. Pellistri has gone off, but Garnacho coming inside on his favoured right foot. Joel Ward shouldn't allow that to happen, but it was a tame effort.
Going to be 5 without a win for Birmingham City. They've conceded a second at one of your former clubs, Chris. Norwich City 2, Birmingham City 0 now is the latest score.
Who got the Norwich goal? Do we know who
I will tell you, Jonathan Rowe.
Jonathan Rowe. He's on fire this season. I think he got 5 in a row the first 5 games, scoring in each of them.
Yeah. Millwall 0, Swansea City 2 is the latest score also in the Championship. And another game in the Championship, there's been a goal. It's Huddersfield against Ipswich. Lee Blakeman.
Huddersfield ahead. Huddersfield 1, Ipswich 0. Delano Bergthor cutting in from the left on his right foot, hard and low into the bottom corner. Huddersfield 1, Ipswich 0.
With Leicester playing tomorrow, that could have seen Ipswich going top, or they had the chance to go top. But Darren Moore, he drew 1-1 away at Coventry in his first game in charge, as Mateta picks it up on that far side, crosses the ball back, might reach Hughes. Hughes with a shot, beaten away by Onana. Fierce effort by Will Hughes, and then a free kick is given away, and Manchester United take it quickly. Well, Onana has had very little to do in this second half, but he struck that true, did Will Hughes.
Oh, he hit it flush, didn't he, Will Hughes? But I think it's a save Onana should make. Very acrobatic save, but the issue was Lindelof being robbed by Mateta on that right-hand side.
Palace are attacking, and they get a corner kick through Schlupp on this near side as we go back to Rome and Ian Carter.
Justin Rose with a par putt from around about 15 feet, enough to win the 14th hole for him and Robert McIntyre, up against Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, who missed the putt attempting to make the half. So the Europeans there now 3 up with 4 to play.
Mentioned Coventry a short time ago. They've got a second goal at Queen's Park Rangers. QPR 0, Coventry City 2. Palace, who lead by 1-0. They're attacking the Stretford end. Anderson with a sweet goal in the first half. Ezra to take it, fires it in towards the near post. Oh, and the looping header. That was from who was got forward at that?
Is it Mitchell?
Yeah, Schlupp has just gone to attack it at the near post, and it dropped
far away.
Not far
like
away at the far post.
Heading in.
Garnacho leads the counter attack on that far side. So Schlupp almost increasing Crystal Palace's lead. Manchester United, they haven't enjoyed back-to-back league victories against Palace all the way back here since 2018. As Rashford makes the run on this near side, the right. Hughes tracks him. Dalot offers the support. Ball scooped forward now by Fernandes and away from Dalot, and that should go out of play. No, he keeps it alive, plays it back into the penalty area. Alert was Anderson. just to get it away before it could drop. Amrabat wins it back. Scoop forward by Fernandes, headed away by Ward once more. Bouncing ball now by Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United try and maintain the momentum, try and maintain the pressure. Diving into the challenge there was Doucouré. Eza, he slips and stumbles. Bruno Fernandes challenged by Mateta. Palace working hard. Mateta releases the ball to Jordan Ayew, and Ayew is away on that right-hand side. Nure makes good ground for Crystal Palace. 65 minutes played here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and he'll get a throw for his efforts too. Another goal at Preston, Katie Smith.
Preston 0, West Brom 3. Matt Phillips this time driving in from the left-hand side into the area. Curls it with his right foot, takes a little nick. Preston 0, West Brom 3.
Preston may well lose their unbeaten record then this season. They had scored in every game up until now, but Swindon maintain their unbeaten start, because at the county ground in League 2 it's Swindon 2, Grimsby 0. West Ham Sheffield United, Henry Moran.
West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0, almost a third. Jared Bowen round the goalkeeper, found Antonio, but he took too long, dispossessed. It remains West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0.
Since Roy Hodgson took charge before today, 26 points from 16 Premier League games since he returned in March. They had failed to win in their 12 previous matches in the Premier League. He's made a real impact, and this would be a bonus 3 points, given the fact that I don't think many people had high expectations of a Crystal Palace side the way that they played at in midweek. Second meeting, of course, in 5 days. Second trip to Old Trafford. Lost 3-0 on Tuesday, but Leeds still here by a 1-0 as we approach the midway point of the second half. Everton-Luton, latest from Masfarouki.
Carlton Morris had the ball in the back of the net for a second time, disallowed though. He was clearly offside before he headed in. Still Everton 1, Luton 2.
Michael Carrick has been singing the praises of Josh Coburn, and he's given Middlesbrough the lead at Vicarage Road. They were 2-0 up, they then got pegged back, but it's Watford 2, Middlesbrough 3, Crawley 3, Sutton 0 is a latest score. Sutton still haven't won since the opening day, as Manchester United trailing by a 0-0. Dalot, right hand side, back towards Varane. Amrabat spreads it out towards that far side. Garnacho waits, offering the width, coming in now off that left touchline, down towards the byline, in towards the near post, pushed away by Johnston. Fernandes can't get there, comes to Amrabat, hits the crossbar, took a deflection on its way through, and Amrabat on his first start in the Premier League almost got an equaliser, but the referee's blown his whistle.
Yeah, well, Johnston was on the floor when Amrabat actually had the effort. He's 25 yards out and hammers a right-footed shot, hits the crossbar and goes over. Really good play on the left-hand side from Garnacho, drives the outside, gives Joel Ward something to think about.
It was offside.
Offside.
Wouldn't have counted. Hoyland was offside. Back to Molineux we go, Pat Murphy.
Another goal for Wolves. This has come from Hwang. It was made though by Gunya. He just would not give up. He kept on and on with the defence, Cunha. He squared the ball across. A lucky ricochet, right foot from Hwang. And Wolves lead Manchester City 2-1.
And it means, should Liverpool win at Tottenham in our 5:30 commentary, we'll get the team news when we can in about 4 minutes' time. John Akers and Stephen Warnock will be providing the commentary at 5:30, but Liverpool with a win would go top of the table as it stands, with Manchester City behind at Molineux. Arsenal are going to within a point of Manchester City as they lead at Bournemouth by 3-0. Play back underway. Crystal Palace lead. We're midway through the second half, still with that Joachim Andersen goal after 25 minutes. Rashford has switched. He's now playing on this near side, the right, as Garnacho's on the left. Offside against Bruno Fernandes. Back to Rome we go. Ian Carter with the goals.
Rory McIlroy from 10 feet makes birdie at 14 and takes him and Matt Fitzpatrick one up in the bottom match. They're up against, of course, Patrick Cantlay and Wyndham Clark. Crucial hole there for Rory McIlroy.
Wimbledon 3, Tranmere 1, Colchester 4, Notts County 3, so the leaders have another goal back. It's going to be an interesting finale, Chris Sutton.
Oh, it absolutely is.
I thought you were going to add to that.
No, I think you've got something right there. Manchester United need this. They absolutely do. Just going back, a little offside there for Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes. That's where Roy Hodgson, on the training ground, Ray Lewington, day in and day out, drilling that back line. So they're all in tandem.
Garnacho picks it up on the left-hand side, runs forward midway through the Palace half, plays it back to Fernandes. Fernandes then turns it back to the halfway line. Dalot crying out for the ball with arms aloft on this near side, the right. Varane now will run forward. He's forward of the centre circle, gets it back from Rashford, but every white shirt back behind the ball for Crystal Palace as Casemiro now does find Dalot. Level with the penalty area, away from Mitchell, delivers the cross, and the header from Mount off target. 7 yards out, directed at goal, which just couldn't keep it down. 1-0 Palace goal kick.
Yeah, Palace have worked so hard, but just looks like some of the players are tiring. Dalot brilliant down the right-hand side, just creates a little angle. Past Mitchell, crosses the ball in. Mason Mount, 6 yards out, level with the near post, should score. Pace on the ball. Chance goes begging, hits him on the shoulder. Didn't concentrate on the connection. Mount in to climb for Manchester United.
Very good. Ross County 0, Hearts 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. John Bennett, the latest from Tyneside.
Newcastle 1, Burnley 0, but another injury blow. Joe Linton has gone off injured just a few minutes after coming onto the pitch. Remember, they play Paris Saint-Germain on Wednesday. Newcastle 1, Burnley 0.
Yes, they do. Commentary of the Champions League next week. On Tuesday night, we're back here at Old Trafford. Manchester United against Galatasaray. And then on Wednesday, live at St James's Park, Newcastle against Paris Saint-Germain. And then at World Cup cricket starts on the Thursday morning on Sports Extra, England against New Zealand. So Manchester United with under 20 minutes remaining, still trailing by a 1-0. Our Rangers still behind. Connie McLaughlin.
And Aberdeen have doubled the lead. It's Rangers 0, Aberdeen 2. Jamie McGrath, the Aberdeen fans inside Ibrox going berserk. Aberdeen had about 4 different shots to attack the goal. Jack Butland cleared them all, apart from the last one. He spilled it and then McGrath pounced and doubled the Dons lead. It is Rangers 0, Aberdeen 2.
Remember Celtic earlier went away at Motherwell by 2-1, and St Mirren, who were second, still are second, are continuing to draw at Kilmarnock 1-1. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Coventry 3, Swindon 2, Grimsby 1. 2 other scores elsewhere around the country as we go back to Italy. And Ian Carter.
Max Homer holds out on the 17th to give the Americans victory over Tommy Fleetwood and Nikolai Højgaard. It means the overall score now, Europe 9.5 points, the United States 4.5.
Tomorrow's singles, live coverage on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds from 10 o'clock in the morning. Back to Rome with Mark Chapman after the football, 18 minutes remaining of normal time. Manchester United coming forward. There was Anderson. That'll be a free kick. As promised, here's the team news from Tottenham. John Akers.
One change apiece from their last Premier League lineups. Brennan Johnson has picked up an injury, so is missing for Spurs. Richarlison comes in, while for Liverpool, Nunez drops to the bench. Gakpo replaces him, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is back in the squad after a hamstring injury.
Rashford with a cross on the right-hand side. Stephen Warnock with John. Commentary 5:30 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Back it goes to Varane. They lost their last Premier League game at home to Brighton. The last time that they lost successive home games was actually against Liverpool and Manchester City in 2021 for Manchester United. They were the last 2 home games under the tenure of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It had been a good week. Many people had hoped that Manchester United had turned a corner. They've run into a brick wall in the shape of Crystal Palace.
Yeah, they'll lose this one. They'll be back in a crisis, won't they?
Well, never before in the history of the Premier League have they lost 4 of their opening 7 games. Here is Garnacho on that far side. Mount makes the run. Jordan Ayew. Palace continuing to work hard. Manchester United win the ball back. Garnacho on the left-hand side. Down towards the byline. Oh, almost 2 own goals. It squirted off the heels of a player at the near post.
Anderson, wasn't it?
Anderson.
Hits him on his inside heel and then goes all the way through to Mitchell, and it goes wide. The Crystal Palace goal leading. Bit of a charmed life.
You took the words right out of my mouth, said Meatloaf. Here is Bruno Fernandes. It's a corner kick. Comes towards Mason Mount, shot blocked. Might be a case of 2 out of 3 ain't bad with the wins that they've had so far against Burnley and Palace. We're going to come up short at the minute with 16 minutes remaining of normal time. Dalot plays it a flat ball in. The header from Varane drops wide. Johnston had it covered though. Goal kick.
Yeah, Varane in a central position as the ball was clipped into him. I actually think he's trying to knock the ball down to Højlund. Glances off his head. Wasn't far past Johnson's right hand post. You see the crowd are getting animated now. Pressure on this Manchester United team. They've been better second half. Erik ten Hag going to his bench again. Eriksson
Martial.
instruction. Martial, yep.
7 goals though in their opening 6 games. It's the fewest actually since the 07-08 campaign, and they need a goal with 15 minutes remaining of normal time, looking for an equaliser. So Eriksen's going to be coming on, Martial is going to be coming on as well, but Palace is still holding on by a goal to nil as Ayew to Eze, skips away from a challenge. Eze now running forward, edge of the penalty area. Eze goes for goal with the outside of his right boot low, and it just runs wide.
Big fan of Eze, but he's made the wrong decision there. Was really greedy, drove himself to the edge of the box and tried to fire a shot with the outside of his right boot into the far corner, but he had Mateta in space on the right hand side, who would have been in a better shooting position. Big opportunity wasted.
What about the opportunity? Hold on, Amrabat, forward ball. Anderson's header. Hoyland tries to wriggle away. Says there was a push there. It'll be a Manchester United throw. What about Manchester City at Molineux, Pat Murphy?
They're still 2-1 down, and Wolves are hanging on. Substitutions are going to be really important now. And Gary O'Neill's brought on Doherty just now for the ailing Ait-Nouri. It's a time for stout hearts from the Wolves defenders. They're stood up very, very well, and there's always the outlet of Neto, who remains dangerous. Wolves 2, Manchester City 1.
Garnacho with the cross, poor clearance by Schlupp. Dalot closed down quickly by Guéhi, and behind it goes for a corner kick. Wolves were so unlucky on the opening day here at Old Trafford. Should have got something from that game, and they haven't been blessed with a number of decisions in recent weeks, haven't Wolverhampton Wanderers, but they lead 2-1 as the corner comes in for Manchester United. Partially cleared, only as far as Mason Mount, going the long way around, not in full control of the ball, and he's given a foul there, and that will get a result in a yellow card. Penalty at St James's Park. We're going there now. John Bennett.
Penalty for Newcastle. They lead by 1-0. This is the chance to really wrap the game up. It was Anthony Gordon who was brought down by Al Dakhil, and Alexander Isak, who's missed an open goal in this game in the first half. He's picked up the ball. For a moment it seemed as though Bruno Guimaraes was going to take it, but he handed it to Alexander Isak. He's taken a couple of yards stepping back. This for a chance to make it 2-0 to Newcastle. Isak steps up, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Newcastle 2, Burnley 0.
So Arsenal are 3-0 up at Bournemouth, Everton 1, Luton 2, Newcastle 2, Burnley 0, West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0. Wolves still lead the leaders Manchester City by 2-1. Changes here then. We're going to have Martial coming on, so it's Rashford coming off, Mason Mount coming off, Eriksen coming on, and Riedevelt's going to be coming on for Crystal Palace, Chris Sutton.
Yep, Martial coming on. He must be playing as a central striker. I think with Fernandes coming out to this right-hand side, he'll play narrow off the right-hand side. Eriksen in the midfield there, trying to create something. Manchester United have just lacked that creativity, lacked that spark. Maybe he'll provide it.
Well, Martial scored against Palace in midweek. Yaro Riedewald is coming on. It's Schlupp who's coming off. It's his first Premier League appearance of the season as we nip back to Goodison Park and Maz Faruqi.
In a time wasting definitely now. Kabore's been booked by Anthony Taylor for dilly-dallying with a throw, and it's frustrating Everton though. Luton holding on at the moment. Everton 1, Luton 2.
12 minutes of normal time remaining. The leaders, Notts County, have conceded a 5th goal. Colchester 5, Notts County 3 is a latest score in League 2. What's the latest at Bournemouth, John Southall?
Well, it's comfortable for Arsenal. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3, but Bukayo Saka, who was an injury out before this, has just hobbled off, and he's hobbling down the touchline now, which must be a worry for Arsenal with Lens and Man City next week. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3.
9.5, 4.5, the latest score in the Ryder Cup. We'll be back in Rome after the football. I'll give you the latest scores. If I can do that for Scotland now. The result earlier was Motherwell 1, Celtic 2. So Celtic went into that game 5 points clear of St Mirren. Their lead here, they're drawing actually at Kilmarnock, so it'll be a 4-point gap at the top for Celtic. Hibs 0, Dundee 0, Kilmarnock 1, St Mirren 1, Rangers, who are down to 10 men, 1, Aberdeen 2, Ross County 0, Hearts 1, St Johnstone 1, Livingston 1. I'll give you the latest scores, League 2, League 1 and the Championship very, very soon, as we're about to, 11 minutes away from normal time here. Sam Johnston's goal still intact. A 19th minute substitute in the League Cup. Conceded the 3 goals on Tuesday night, but have been so much better.
What is Amrabat doing there? Gives away a free kick. He's really looked uncomfortable in that left back position, like a fish out of water, really.
Shown a yellow card too.
Yep, driving back towards his own goal. Ayew behind him. tries to get his body in. I mean, he actually dives and handballs it, palms the ball away. A goalkeeper would have been proud of that piece of handling from Amrabat, but a free kick for Palace.
So a free kick to Crystal Palace with just over 10 minutes of normal time remaining in front of the Stretford end, right side of the penalty area, down by the byline. Eza to take it. At least 5 white shirts to aim for. Manchester United have everybody back. Eza scoops it in now, aimed towards Anderson, comes off his head and out for a goal kick. We'll go to Ibrox. Conor McLaughlin.
Rangers 1, Aberdeen 2, hugely significant 10 minutes. Aberdeen doubling the lead through Jamie McGrath after pummelling the Rangers defence for about 7-8 minutes. Then Sima just pulled one back for Rangers. It did go to a VAR check. It was given, the goal's been given, and to be honest, it's been totally against the run of play. Scott Wright was then sent off for a second yellow card. It had been coming, he'd only been on the pitch for 15 minutes, but created a couple of fouls. And if it stays this way, the Dons will go up to 7th and Rangers will trail Celtic by 7 points. Rangers 1, Aberdeen 2.
Elsewhere, Wycombe 2 against the 10 men of Carlisle United. 2-0. Free kick goes in favour of Crystal Palace in the centre circle. Clumsy from Casemiro.
Well, clumsy and stupid, reckless from Casemiro. He's on a yellow card. Clatters into the back of Eze. Do you know what? Palace happy with this, aren't they? Manchester United. Silly foul from Casemiro. Overly aggressive. And Palace can slow the game down.
9 minutes of normal time remain. Certainly no shortage of stories around in the Premier League on this Ryder Cup weekend on 5 Live as Anderson goes out long, headed away by Amrabat. Out for a throw it goes. Back to Molineux. Pat Murphy.
It's still Wolves 2, Manchester City 1. Grealish has just come on for the defender Ake. As refined the side as Man City are, this smacks of throwing the kitchen sink at the situation. It's Wolves 2, Man City 1.
Remember earlier Aston Villa beat Brighton by 6-1. Brighton, who were third. Second place Liverpool. Commentary to come at Tottenham at 5:30. But Manchester United are attacking. Garnacho takes a little stumble, but he now feeds the ball to Martial, left-hand side of the penalty area. It might come back to Garnacho. There was Decore. Just been so effective sitting in front of that back four throughout the afternoon. Here is Amrabat looking to turn. Eza looks to try and close him down. Ball then played out by Lindelof. 8 minutes remain. Martial for Manchester United, playing from left to right as we look, still in this incessant rain. Now, Garnacho, good block again from Anderson. They put their bodies on the line today, have they not?
Do you know what all the Palace defence with that centre-half pairing, Guehi and Anderson, have been rocks, haven't they? For Palace once again, Anderson coming out, Garnacho in off the left, good block from the centre-half.
Manchester United with Varane to Dalot. Højlund makes the run. Hardly mentioned Højlund's name really in this second half. Amrabat's seen a lot of the ball as he tries to orchestrate things in the midfield, despite playing as a left back. Again, he's roaming out towards this near side, the right, but Eriksen has taken over. He goes out towards Lindelof. Now it's forward, little back heel, drag ball there by Fernandes. He gets it back on that left touch line, back towards Lindelof. Now towards Eriksen, but playing in front of Crystal Palace at the moment, really. Varane works it across to this near side for Amrabat, swings over the cross, drops on the edge of the area. Martial with the downward header, little flick by Casemiro. Garnacho's pace keeps it alive. Still the ball is there in the penalty area. Excellent clearance away by Decore. And there is Ayew to clear it further for Crystal Palace. Looked like there might have been half an opening there at one stage for the home team.
Yeah, just kept it alive, Manchester United in the Palace box, but here's Palace breaking out. Ayew, what an outlet he has been. United with the ball back. You feel there's going to be an onslaught now for the last 7 minutes. And at a time, Manchester United throwing everything at them.
Give you the latest scores in League Two then. As Wimbledon lead the 10 men of Tranmere Rovers by 3-1. Martial picks it up. Casemiro lets it run through with a dummy, looking towards Eriksen. Sliding challenge by Riedewald, cleared away by Eza. Accrington 0, Stockport County 3, Barrow 2, Doncaster 1. Bradford City's unbeaten run of 5 games is coming to an end. Walsall lead at Valley Parade by 3-1. The leaders, Notts County, losing 5-3 at Colchester United, and Colchester are now down to 10 men. Crawley 3, Sutton United 0. Sutton still haven't won since the opening day. Forest Green 0, Morecambe 2. Forest Green have lost every game at home in League 2 this season. Gillingham 1, Mansfield 1. MK Dons 0, Harrogate 1. Salford City 2, Newport County 1. Swindon remain unbeaten as they lead Grimsby 2-1. Wrexham down to 10 men 2. Crewe 3. Latest scores in League One and the Championship to come. This is BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. Also live on BBC Sounds as we check on the leaders Manchester City at Molineux. Pat Murphy.
They're still 2-1 down to Wolves. Sarr, though, has just made a very important save. A low skimming shot from 25 yards by Walker. And Holland was there waiting for the rebound, but Sarr kept his eye on it and did not spill it in front of the striker. Very important moment. Wolves 2, Manchester City 1.
Mitchell again, very, very vigilant defending, not once but twice. Good covering, and then followed up the ball to clear it out of play. From the throw for Manchester United, it's Eriksson. It comes towards Højlund, looks to try and steer it goalwards, loses his balance, looks for a penalty. Referee Chris Kavanagh has a look at that. He never really looked in full control.
Well, he didn't. Big opportunity for Højlund. He fluffs his lines.
Here is Bruno Fernandes, he pulls it, Martial outside the D, looking for a late equaliser. This is with Casemiro towards the chip, drops wide, out for a goal kick. Palace still lead by a 1-0, 5 minutes remain. What's the latest at the Ryder Cup, Ian Carter?
Brilliant up and down from Bob McIntyre on the 15th. It's Forster half. It means he and Justin Rose are 3 up on Spieth and Thomas with just 3 holes to play.
There was nothing in that penalty, was there, Chris?
No, absolutely. Well, it's Guy who challenges, well, in fact, it's Anderson who challenges for the ball. The ball bounces down. Højlund tries to get a shot off it. The ball's just a little bit too far away from him. He doesn't claim initially for the penalty. That's an afterthought. Chance goes begging.
Goal at Stevenage, Nesta McGregor.
And it is Stevenage 1, Oxford United 3. Maybe the goal that settles this game. A smart corner routine. Josh Murphy hanging up a ball at the far post, and coming in was defender Elliot Moore to power home. Stevenage 1, Oxford United 3.
Won't take them top though, because Portsmouth, the leaders, are leading at Wigan Athletic by 2-1. Elsewhere, the latest scores: Barnsley 0, Blackpool 1, Derby Cambridge is goalless, Exeter City 0, Northampton 1, Fleetwood lead Leyton Orient by a 0-0, Lincoln are 2-0 up against Cheltenham, who are still yet to score in the League One this season. Peterborough 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Port Vale 0, Bolton 1, Reading Burton, Shrewsbury Charlton are both goalless. Stevenage 1, Oxford 3, as we've heard. We've mentioned the Portsmouth score at Wigan 2-1. Wigan are down to 10 men. Charlie Wyke sent off, and the 10 men of Carlisle still trail at Wycombe by 2-0. Further substitutions here, Chris Sutton. We're going to be seeing Richards on for Crystal Palace, and Maguire's going to be coming on for Manchester United.
Maguire for Lindelof, and Donny van der Beek is on. Let's see who he's coming on for. Well, Richards on. There'll be 3 centre halves, I think, for Crystal Palace. They actually played the second half on Tuesday night, went to a back 3.
So Maguire coming on for Lindelof. Donny van der Beek, his last Premier League appearance was in January against Bournemouth when he picked up a knee injury. So Maguire is on. Donny van der Beek, who really, you think about, it just hasn't happened for him at Manchester United. A chance to try and salvage something in these closing stages.
It's hardly much of a chance, is it? 2.5 minutes.
So Van der Beek is on. So who went off for Lindelof? Came off for Maguire. Donny van der Beek is on. And then did Palace make the change for Richards to come on as well?
Richards is on.
Yeah, Richards is on.
Centre halves. I mean, you should keep up with this sort of thing, Ian. That's your job.
I was looking at the computer screen to see where we're going to go next with the latest scores. We'll tidy up those substitutions in a moment. Here is Højlund, still looking for an equaliser. Now out towards Fernandes, right corner of the area, back towards Eriksson. Eriksson plays it in, runs away from Garnacho. Sarah Orchard, latest in the Rugby Union.
Just underway in Pool C between Fiji and Georgia, 0-0 into the second minute, and the big focus of this match is actually the impact the result will have on Australia. If Fiji win with a bonus point, it means the Wallabies are out of the quarterfinals before they even play their final match against Portugal tomorrow. It's Fiji 0, Georgia 0.
A goal at Huddersfield, Lee Blakeman.
Equaliser for Ipswich with 3 minutes to go. Ball in from the left, and there was Brandon Williams on as a sub. Diving header, back post. Ipswich could be going top again, 1-1.
Goal at Rangers, Conor McLaughlin.
Aberdeen 3. Wow. Jack McKenzie, a drill. He'd found space on the right hand side. He drilled at a tight angle into the back of the net past Jack Butland. The Aberdeen fans in dreamland. As I say this, the VAR is checking it for a possible offside. Come back to me. This has just happened. But as it stands right now, we think it might be Aberdeen who've got a 3-1 lead at Ibrox.
Van der Beek and Maguire on for Lindelof and Varane. Richards replaced Eberechi Eze. They're the changes that have been made. We've got 60 seconds remaining. The Crystal Palace fans are celebrating away towards our right. They have a free kick inside their own half. Still to give you the latest scores in the Championship. We'll be back to Rome after the football with Mark Chapman here on BBC Radio 5 Live. But this could be an excellent 3 points for Crystal Palace as the ball is played forward towards Mateta. Mateta holds the ball down in the corner flag on the far side. The result in the Championship earlier was Southampton 3, Leeds United 1. Latest scores: Bristol 2, Bristol City 2, Stoke City 2. Cardiff lead Rotherham by a goal to nil. Huddersfield 1, Ipswich 1. Hull City 1, Plymouth 1. Millwall 0, Swansea 3. Norwich still lead Birmingham by 2 goals to nil. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Coventry 3. Watford 2, Middlesbrough 3. And another goal at Deepdale, Katie Smith.
Yeah, what a day out for West Brom. Preston 0, West Brom 4. Free kick over on the right hand side near the byline. Wallace chips it into the area and Bartley sort of tamely dribbles it in. West Brom 4.
Ayew hits the side netting for Crystal Palace. They get a corner kick. We're in 4 minutes of added on time. Aberdeen, that goal stands. They lead at Rangers by 3 goals to 1 in the Premier League. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3. Everton 1, Luton 2. Palace still lead here by a goal to nil. Newcastle 2, Burnley 0. West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0. And Wolves still leading against the leaders and the champions, Manchester City, by 2 goals to 1. A dramatic afternoon day of football and the golf here on 5 Live, as the corner over on that far side is going to be taken short, and we'll go back to Rome and Ian Carter.
Jordan Spieth has just hit it into the water at the 16th, the best tee shot in this match, with Justin Rose and Bob McIntyre came from the Scotsman. He's going to be putting for eagle. Looks very much as though they're going to close out victory here, the Europeans.
Hoyland charges forward for Manchester United. Dalot right corner of the penalty area, still trailing by a goal to nil. Dalot sends over the cross, takes the deflection, loops towards the far post. United keep it alive, and it goes wide, deflected wide. Garnacho so close to a dramatic equaliser.
What a block. I think it's Gahey again. He has had a monumental game as the ball drops to Garnacho. He's 7 yards out, sits perfectly, hammers the ball, and Gahey blocks. Goes wide for a corner. Are they checking a handball?
VAR check was only a momentarily one, and it comes now from that corner kick, headed away by Gahey once again. The rock at the heart of that Palace defence, as Manchester United now with Amrabat. Time desperately running out. 2 minutes remain of minimum time in stoppage time here at Old Trafford. Casemiro can't deliver the cross. Mitchell has been terrific as well at left back for Palace. We go to Molineux. Pat Murphy.
It's still Wolves 2, Manchester City 1. There are 5 minutes added on now still to come, and City, despite their leisurely style, are looking more and more desperate to get that equaliser. Wolves standing firm, the crowd massively behind them. Wolves 2, Manchester City 1.
Well, there are empty seats appearing at Old Trafford, but nobody's moving in that away section away towards our right-hand side as the Crystal Palace fans urge their team on, but they lose the ball and Eriksen picks it up midway through his own half. Manchester United playing from left to right. Martial outside the centre circle, making a diagonal run out towards that far side, the left. Garnacho comes on the inside. Richards goes with him, releases the ball along the ground towards Dalot. He goes square now. Then it's Eriksen along the ground, back out towards the left. Martial still playing in front of Palace. They try and work it round the back. Amrabat makes that run towards the corner flag. He sends over the cross, cleared away by Richards, finds Ayew, and Ayew will clear for Crystal Palace. And by my watch, we have got, 2.5 minutes of added on time remaining as the ball goes long. Maguire lets it run through. Now it's with Casemiro. Mitchell just standing tall. Thou shalt not pass. Here is Dalot, goes back, groans from the Manchester United supporters. The ball went back rather than forward. Fernandes now with a diagonal ball in towards the penalty area. Garnacho's downward header, picked up by Maguire. Left corner of the penalty area. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. Palace still lead by a goal to nil. Ball goes out of play. Palace throw, Chris Sutton.
It's a brilliant Palace rearguard action, narrowing up, saying Manchester United, you put long balls in, we'll deal with it. Maguire playing as a makeshift centre forward. This is it for Manchester United now. I say this is it. It's Crystal Palace who have got the throw-in, and they're not going to hurry. What a performance from Roy Hodgson's team.
Absolutely superb from Crystal Palace. The about to have added on time is almost over. We go to Goodison, Maz Faruqi.
Everton are throwing everything they can forward to try and get this equaliser. Better on the field now. Up there is a target man alongside Calvert-Lewin, but Luton holding on. They've got 7 minutes of stoppage time to try and hold on for. Everton 1, Luton 2.
Manchester United don't have the ball. Crystal Palace with Ayew. Well, he said in midweek that they were given a footballing lesson and we will lick our wounds. They have licked their wounds and they are biting back, and some are Crystal Palace, leading by a goal to nil. Now or never. Referee though has his whistle in his mouth, and there it is. And the Crystal Palace directors away to our left celebrate. The Palace supporters away to our right celebrate wildly. And there are boos and jeers from the Old Trafford faithful, because Crystal Palace, with a monumental shift of defensing, have won by a goal to nil. Chris Sutton.
Crystal Palace go above Manchester United in the table. What a performance. The old-timer Roy Hodgson setting his team up to do a job on Manchester United, and do it they did well. Brilliant goal in the first half from Anderson, who was the Great Dane on display, and Manchester United simply could not break Palace down in the second half. The Palace fans singing in the rain.
Anderson's brilliant goal after 25 minutes wins it for Crystal Palace. Roy Hodgson's done it again here at Old Trafford. Reaction to come. Manchester United 0, Crystal Palace 1.